And I think it's great because she has a lot of experience, and she's very humble and has a great personality and a great person to be around.
She is articulate, she is smart, she is empathetic, she is everything that you would hope most teenagers are.
So every once in a while you get lucky enough to meet a student who just operates on a different plane than the rest of us. And those students are the ones that make you wonder, what are they going to do later on in life? And she's one of those.
I'm so thankful for my coaches and my teammates and my parents who have just made this possible.
Congratulations, Isabel.
For over 20 years, 99.9 The Fan and Coastal Credit Union have been recognizing scholar athletes at Triangle area schools. If you'd like to nominate a high school athlete, text AWARD to 919-860-5326. That's AWARD to 919-860-5326.
See if you're a winner every night. Watch live lottery drawings on WRAL-TV's 11 o'clock news. That's right, Carolina Pick 3, Carolina Pick 4, and Carolina Cash 5 numbers every night on WRAL-TV's 11 o'clock news. See if you're a winner before you go off to bed. Get your lottery numbers live every night.
North Carolina Education Lottery.
Only on WRAL-TV's 11 o'clock news.
Oh, wow, honey, I love it. It's so beautiful and so sparkly.
Just like you, Mom. Happy Mother's Day.
I'll wear it every day. It goes with everything.
This Mother's Day, wow Mom with spirit-lifting, outfit-making, express your love jewelry. Shop jtv.com/mom for wow-worthy and budget-friendly styles.
I'm never taking it off.
Another wow factor? Sign up for JTV Text and get $30 off. If she loves jewelry, she'll love JTV.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
They score! Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. A good bit of cloud cover out there, but it's not keeping our temperatures down. We'll see well above normal highs in the mid-80s again today. Mid-60s overnight tonight and cloudy. We start a new pattern tomorrow. We'll see a chance of scattered afternoon and evening storms. Highs in the mid-80s. A chance of storms each afternoon for the rest of the week.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones down 1,275 points at 37,867.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. You smell that? Do you smell it? Graham's sitting in for Dennis Cox today. He'll be producing the show. Graham, do you smell it?
Do you smell what the Rockets cooking? No, I'm kidding. I know we're off the eve of WrestleMania. Yes, I smell it in the air.
That win from the Canes was stanky.
1 to go, 15 more to go. Or 1 down, 15 more to go, however you want to phrase it.
1 to go, 15 to go, and also to go. Stanky win for the Canes. Stankoven with 2 goals, as you just heard here in the highlights. Ooh. And that's about as good of a first impression as you could look for.
It's stanky up in here.
The good kind. No windows, no ventilation. The good kind, baby. Listen, we have a Monday sound off coming up at 3:30. We'll be taking your calls on the Heister Automotive Group hotline. So start collecting your thoughts, putting them in order, thinking about how you want to verbalize them on the show. We will open up the phone lines to all of you for your Canes takes or whatever else you have in your crawl, whatever's stuck in your crawl. Basketball, football, baseball, really anything. So we'll open up the phone lines at 3:30. Be ready for that. I'll give you the phone number as we get closer. But in the meantime, the Canes beat the Devils in Game 1.
How about it?
You know what this is? They played well enough, and it was obvious enough. This series has no business going more than 5 games.
It certainly feels that way. I mean, I know the saying when it comes to playoff hockey is that a series truly never starts until you went on the road.
And they'll say that about most 7-game series in sports. There was more than a home court advantage, home ice advantage difference between those two teams when they played yesterday afternoon on Easter.
Simply put, Carolina just looked focused, and New Jersey looked like they were playing game 83. And what I mean by that, they looked like they were just treating it like another regular season game in terms of sleepwalking, sleep skating, however you want to phrase it. Like that's just that's how it came across to me.
Here's where I'm going to push back on what you said, and this is kind of the difference. If it were simply the Canes looked more locked in, looked more focused, looked more whatever you want to call it, then that to me doesn't tell you anything about the future, right? Because focus is something that can turn on a dime, right? If Timo Meyer, who by the way stinks, if not as a hockey player, as just kind of a vibe, but if he gives a better like pregame speech, they can come out more locked in. The Canes were the more physical team in Game 1.
Yeah.
Which doesn't, like, the Canes are, I don't want to say the Canes aren't physical or they're afraid of a fight or anything. That's not true. But if we're being real, when you get to the postseason in years past, there have been teams with more size, more physicality, and they try to outskill them. Nothing wrong with that. But they were the more physical team in Game 1. They were the more physical team in Game 1. I was just talking with Rod Brindamore, the Svetch Kokaniemi Hall line. I feel like I was reminded every time they got out there on the ice that they're all big. Oh, yeah. They can throw their weight around a little bit. Kokaniemi can throw his weight around a little bit. It'll lead to goals eventually. They got a bunch of high leverage chances. But watching that game, it didn't appear as if it were just the Canes are more experienced in the postseason or the Canes have, they're more locked in or more comfortable under the pressure. They're at home. It looked like they were the more talented and better team in most aspects. Rod Brindamore was asked after the game if the playoff experience they've had helps with their physicality aspect of the game.
I don't know. I think when we get to our game, it looks we can certainly frustrate teams if we're going. And in this building with the crowd the way it is we gotta give them a lot of props too, because that is a big deal. I think when you get that momentum going and then you just feel that energy. So. But, I just think we were ready to go, and, that first goal I think is huge, just to really settle everything, and just allows you to just keep kind of staying the course.
That first goal was huge. First 3 minutes, you get a Jalen Chatfield goal. Chatty.
I mean, talk about a good way to set the tone early by just an excellent shot from Wade Avenue, pretty much, from the blue line. Traffic out in front, everything you would want.
I mean, even after the game, Chatfield was talking about it, or it may have been during an intermission. It was a quote that I read this morning where Chatfield was saying, like, listen, there's a lot of chaos in front of the net. It's not like I picked that window, right? He was basically saying pucks on net, shots on goal, good things happen, and that one got all the way through. Logan Stankoven, stanky win. Logan Stankoven might have that playoff thing where for whatever reason, when everyone else's heart rate goes up, he stays calm, or for whatever reason, when his heart rate goes up, he plays better. Might have that playoff thing. It's one game, but he played well in the postseason last year for Dallas as well. It matters on a team like the Canes, right? When you make it to the postseason every year, and this is their 7th straight, and you never get to the Stanley Cup Finals, you need something new, right? What are we doing differently here? Stankoven scoring 2 goals right at the start feels fresh. Freddie did well. And honestly, the goal he gave up, not the best goal to give up, right? It's not like you just tip your cap and say, nice shot. Probably, I would have liked to have seen him make a better play on it. But I do think even that came with a silver lining of keeping everyone locked in all the way until the empty netter by Svetch. Right? It didn't allow anyone to take a breath, which I thought was good. Again, you don't want to give up the goal, but if you do, you can find a silver lining. And goodness gracious, do you know what I'm learning? Canes fans are still rooting so hard for Andrei Svechnikov. any signs of success, and the fans are right back in it. He has not been great this year. Right, and we've talked about some of the like GPS numbers, the miles per hour and stuff. He's not as explosive as he once was for whatever reason. Could be the injuries, could be age, could be he's concerned. I don't know. Right, I'm not going to sit here and prognosticate why, but there's the production is down. All of those things. He had a good goal. Don't get me wrong. In game 82, last game of the regular season, confident, let it rip. Then he plays great for most of the game in game 1 of the postseason. His line looks good. They're buzzing. And he scores the empty netter, which felt well-earned. And you can tell this fan base is ready to be heartbroken again. They are all in on Svech. And I like that about it.
But even though it was an empty netter, I know there's some parts of the fan base that likes to joke about, oh yeah, well, it's Andrei Svechnikov scoring the memorial.
Mr. Empty Netter.
Mr. Empty Netter. The takeaway that he had to set it up was impressive.
And if we're being completely honest, he probably should have, he deserved to have a true goal earlier in the game, but, for whatever reason, hockey's a difficult to predict sport, puck luck, as so many call it. He didn't have it, so he gets rewarded with the empty netter. Played well. The penalty kill, really good.
2 for 2.
Really good. I think it was the second one was wildly exciting.
I mean, just suffocated.
It was... almost had the feel of, and it's just one penalty kill, so I'm not going to make it out to be Everest, but it had a feel of like a shooting streak or something like that, where somebody's hit 4 threes, and every time they pull up, it's like another 5 in a row. He's 6 for 6, because every time Jersey came down the ice, it was just a well-placed poke. It was a passing lane jumped. It was great position. It was a really fun penalty kill, which doesn't happen that often.
And I believe it was the first penalty kill, too, where Jarvis got the takeaway and almost set himself up for another empty netter. I mean, that would have really just put maybe an early dagger in the game if they had scored a shorthanded.
Orlov and Burns played well, which I know many of you have been quite frustrated, particularly with Burns. Played well. Orlov was hunting. He wanted to score, but he was more aggressive than usual. Laid some lumber as a physical player, which is exciting. Rod Brindamore said they needed everyone to contribute to get that win.
Yeah, I mean, for us to win, we're going to need 20 guys chipping in and, after a game going, okay, I contributed some way, somehow, and I think that's what we got tonight.
This is the opposite. I'm going to tell – I don't even know if this is a joke that has to come from the 1960s, which is, it's a grandpa joke. My grandpa used to tell this to us. And the gender roles and everything, not my words, his. And he has passed away, so you can take it up with him. He would tell us that, right, he and my grandma were together for 58 years, something crazy like that. And he would say that the first time she asked him to vacuum, he did a horrendous job. So she thought he was just a horrendous vacuumer, and then she would never ask him to do it again. She would just go, I'll do it, right? So his advice always was, right, when your wife asks you to do something, just do it really, really bad, and you'll never get asked to do it again. Again, take it up with him. But this is the exact opposite of that. The Canes did so well in game 1. That's your job now. You're now the vacuumer, right? Like now, that's what I need you to do. And if you fall a couple percentage points short of what you did in game 1, I'm fine, because that was an exceptional game 1. But now we know what you're capable of. You showed us, so we're not going to ask less of you from this point forward.
I mean, this might sound like a silly question, Tim, but does that win last night, 4-1 win, dominant fashion, game 1 of the Stanley Cup playoffs, does it feel almost like it justified their performance in April? And 2-7, and I know 2 of those losses were with rookies, but almost like, all right, this team does know that when the rubber meets the road, they can step up.
It does for the first series. Everything I've talked about has been in relation to the Devils. Because, I mean, let's be real. Devils without Jack Hughes are not the Devils. And the Devils without Jack Hughes, and then they lost Glass for a little bit. They lost Dillon. They lost the other Hughes for a little bit. Like, that's a team that the Canes should be, and they looked like it. Now, if they show up in round 2, which could be the Caps, and they're not as in rhythm, I don't know if you look back and say it's the end of the regular season, but it does appear as if the decision-making at the end of the regular season pushes towards the postseason series 1 as if they're completely prepared and they didn't lose any of their edge. If they go on to not play well in this series, which would be very frustrating, I'm not blaming it on the end of the regular season. I'll find something else to blame it on because they came out swinging, which I appreciate. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Don't forget, we have a Monday sound-off coming up at 3:30 where we will open up the phone lines for you to voice your opinion on everything happening in sports. Whatever you want to ask, talk about, we'll open up the phone lines. Bookmark the number, 919-860-5326. That's all at 3:30. In the meantime, Cooper Flagg's going pro. Wildly shocking news out of Duke basketball. Stick around.
Need more Stanley Cup chatter, Canes fans? Listen afternoons at 12:15 and 4:15 for our Cup Check-In. Served up by Carolina Ale House. Adam Gold talks with hockey's best past and present, bringing you the latest insight on the chase for Lord Stanley's Cup. It's the Cup Check-In on 99.9 The Fan. Served up by Carolina Ale House. Come to Carolina Ale House Cary for away game watch parties throughout the playoffs, or visit carolinaalehouse.com/Canes.
Fun awaits at John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington, picking out your new Jeep from all the amazing deals. How about a 2024 Jeep Wrangler for 20% off? That's up to $15,000 off. Prefer a new 2024 Jeep Grand Wagoneer? Have fun choosing because they are all now $25,000 off at John Heister. See dealer for full details. Go anywhere, do anything in your new Jeep. For best selection, get off your keister and get to John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington today.
Heineken Silver is a world-class light beer with only 2.9 carbs and 95 calories. It keeps things light and refreshing all year round. It's like rain showing up to cool things off and then politely leaving. It's like cracking open a window and nailing the cross breeze. So, as we move into the warmer weather, grab a crisp and refreshing Heineken Silver and taste the difference. Only 2.9 carbs and 95 calories. Available at your local Heineken retailer or for delivery at Heineken.com/silver now. Must be 21 plus to purchase. Enjoy Heineken responsibly.
Breaking news, and this one is almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Bet365 because they get $150 in bonus bets when they bet $5, win or lose. And even better, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. And see why. It's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in North Carolina. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. T&Cs apply.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
You know what's better than a limited time deal? An unlimited time deal. That's why the Wendy's $5 Biggie Bag with a Junior Bacon Cheeseburger, 4-piece nugs, Junior Hot and Crispy Fries, and small soft drink is available all the time. Because the best time for fresh, never frozen beef and Applewood smoked bacon is all the time. Duh. I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot. For the best deal of all time, gotta be Wendy's.
Unlimited time does not mean forever. U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska, Hawaii, and California and via third-party delivery. Fresh beef available in the contiguous U.S., Alaska, and Canada.
Ola Joseph lobs it back up top, stolen by Cooper. A race to the other end, get ready for the show! A reverse pull-up! My goodness! And the lead grows to 26, and Cal wants a timeout.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Cooper Flagg going pro. The pretty much guaranteed number 1 overall pick electing to go pro. Wild and crazy, right? The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. He did announce earlier today that he is officially declaring for the draft. And as much as I play it up sarcastically, not surprised. We'll open up the phone lines. If you have some takes on Cooper Flagg's tenure, where does he rank in Duke history amongst freshmen, amongst players, amongst all that sort of thing, we can take those calls. We'll be opening up the phone lines at 3:30 for a true Monday sound-off, so you can talk about anything you want. If that's on the list, go ahead. 919-860-5326 is the number to call. Just keep that in mind for about 13 minutes from now.
I have a take, Tim.
Okay, let's hear it.
I don't know if Cooper Flagg's ready to go to the NBA.
Why would he not be?
After missing that shot against Houston, I don't know if he has that clutch factor that a lot of NBA coaches might be looking for when it comes down to. I'm kidding, folks.
Okay.
I'm kidding.
Right?
I'm not going to let one shot determine a whole career. Although
it's not just one shot. I mean, he turned the ball over a few times against Kentucky late, turned the ball over against Kansas late. Both games they lost early. Missed the shot, right? If you are somebody that overanalyzes individual games in college, and I say overanalyze as a negative, you probably do have your concerns about Cooper Flagg. Listen, he has to go pro. Okay, let's just be clear. He's going to be the number 1 overall pick, and before you argue that he's giving up something, he's giving up nothing. He can have his college experience if he wants on his own terms, right? There's nothing that says he can't complete his degree. If education is something that is if secondary education is something that is important to him, he can do so. We've seen a ton of NBA players go back and get their degree. There's nothing that says he can't live in an apartment complex with his young teammates in the NBA and get the dorm experience, or bring his buddies with him from high school and get the dorm experience. LeBron talks about how the Miami years for him. He spent 4 years in Miami. That was his college experience. Like he can do it all, right? But he also gets to be the number 1 overall pick and generational wealth and protected and be stable and everything that comes with it. So good for him.
I do want to know something. After that loss to Houston in the Final Four, for a second, did you kind of sit back for yourself and think, what if he does come back? Like, what if he doesn't want his last shot at Duke to be that jumper that went off the rim?
I never thought he was coming back. I guarantee you there were moments where he thought he was coming back. And then he had a cold glass of water to the face of realism and reality and said, no, of course not.
Or he talked to an agent from the NBA and slid him
his agent that he had in college, right? You have those now. Or John Shire or Coach K, right? Like the ones that get it. And there is a magic about college experience, right? Especially when you're the BMOC, big man on campus, like he was. I'm sure he did go it could be awesome, but it's just not realistic. And it actually does something that Graham, you kind of brought up. It heightens the electricity of the one and done year. If you are an obvious one and done, Cooper Flagg was one and done from the moment he committed to Duke, right? The moment he committed, you got 1 year with him. It heightens the stakes for that 1 year because there is no next year. There is none. If you miss the last shot in the Final Four that would have won you the game,
that's it.
That's it. It's not like let me try to pick a Duke player through like Jay Will, right? Jay Williams, Jason Williams at the time was the player of the year. I think it was a Sporting News Rookie of the Year, Freshman of the Year as a freshman, right? And he was on a team with Battier and all these guys, and they lost in the Sweet 16 his freshman year. Averaged double figures, right? He was a starting point guard for one of the best teams in the country. Sporting News Freshman of the Year. Guess what? That's the day he's gone. And for the rest of his life, he's thinking about the Sweet 16. I think they lost to Florida. It was Mike Miller, Udonis Haslem in that group. And that's what he's thinking about. Instead, it's a previous era. It's a previous generation. He doesn't have the lottery knocking down his door right away. So what happens? He comes back his sophomore year. He wins the national championship. And guess what nobody talks to him about? That Sweet 16 loss to Florida, because he can always respond with, yeah, then I got one of these and hold up the ring on his finger, right? And then I came back my junior year, and even though he didn't win, he won all the National Players of the Year, and he was the 2nd overall pick. Cooper Flagg doesn't get that. Cooper Flagg doesn't. Christian Laettner lost in the Final Four his freshman year. Now, he wasn't as featured, right? He was more of a supporting, so who knows if the NBA would have been calling now. But darn sure after his sophomore year, it would have. He didn't win the national championship that year either. Lost in the Final Four, lost in the championship game. His junior year finally won it again his senior year. Now people talk about him like he might be the best college basketball player, resume-wise, in the history of the game. Some UCLA people will probably disagree with that. Some UNC people will probably disagree with that. I'm just saying he's in the argument.
And I know for Flagg, Knipple, Proctor even, these guys that have already, Knipple and Flagg specifically, that are going on to the NBA draft, yeah, they're not going to be able to go up to meet with an agent and say, here's my Final Four ring. But in this day and age of the one-and-done era, is it starting to feel like that maybe the individual accolades start to outweigh the team accolades a little bit? Because he does have the Rookie of the Year, ACC Player of the Year, all that other stuff.
Not for Cooper Flagg. And here's why. Cooper Flagg isn't mingling in circles of just one, right? When Duke was looking like a wagon during the NCAA tournament, when they were mowing teams down, who did everybody go talk to? Carmelo Anthony, right? Not because Carmelo Anthony was a great individual player, not because Carmelo Anthony was on a great team. It's because he was both, right? The conversations that Cooper Flagg was trying to be a part of were not National Players of the Year or national champions. He was trying to be a part of both, right? He was trying to be a part of, I got both of those things. Instead, he falls one rung short, right? Instead of going with the Carmelo Anthonys of the world where, the next time there's a freshman that's in the National Player of the Year conversation and on a top-ranked team, right? When that happens, they're not calling up Cooper Flagg. They're calling up Carmelo Anthony, or they're calling up Anthony Davis, right? Or they're calling up somebody like Jahlil Okafor even. Kevin Durant. That's where Cooper Flagg lives now in college lore as far as unbelievable freshman seasons that didn't end holding the trophy. So there is a little added extra, that's the good part of one and done, right? Everybody's mad, you don't develop relationships. How am I supposed to root for this team when they're new every year? Well, it's the Cooper Flagg situation ramped up from 0 to 100 miles an hour pretty quickly, right? As soon as he got on Duke's campus, he was all in. Fans understood this was the year because he's gone next year, and it made for a really, really fun pressure cooker of 1 year in Durham. And it ended just short of their overall goal, but you can't say every step along the way there wasn't a heightened focus because you knew he was going to be the number 1 overall pick. And now he declares to go pro. Duke is a machine, by the way, media-wise. So you got Wednesday, last Wednesday, Con Knipple announced he was going pro.
Yep.
What was it, Thursday?
Caleb Foster announces he's returning.
Friday, Tyrese Proctor announces he's going pro. I think it was Friday, may have been Saturday. And then Monday, you get Cooper Flagg announcing he's going pro. I would guess tomorrow there will be an announcement from Isaiah Evans or perhaps Kaman Malawash going pro, right? And I would guess Evans is coming back, but who knows? Got to wait for the announcement. Duke gets a 24-hour news cycle for every single one of their players.
Their creative media team is definitely hitting their stride right now.
And they have the new saying, League Next, or what do they say? I think it's League Next, Duke Forever is what they post, and it's on all of them.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
They got their little catchphrases.
Forever a Devil, hashtag the Brotherhood.
It says
something like that.
League Next, Duke Forever. Thank you, Cooper Flagg. And I believe that is exactly what they posted for Tyrese Proctor as well. So they're out there. The media thing is a machine. Yeah, exactly what they posted for Tyrese Proctor on April 18th. League Next, Duke Forever. Thank you, Tyrese Proctor. And I assume if I scrolled back far enough, I'd see Con Knipple as well. They are a media machine. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Let's open up the Heister Automotive Group hotline for a Monday sound-off. Whatever your takes are, Duke basketball, Canes hockey, 1-0 in the first round against the Devils after yesterday's win on Easter Sunday, or anything else you want to sound off on. All sports takes welcome. 919-860-5326 is the number to call. 919-860-5326. We want to hear from you. Monday Sound Off coming up next.
Hey, it's Adam Gold, and do you have a late-night craving for in-depth analysis on the Carolina Hurricanes and their latest game, their latest win, their pursuit of the Stanley Cup? Well, I can quench your thirst. I can feed that appetite on the Canes Corner podcast, the morning after edition, which drops the morning after every Hurricanes game. Get it wherever you get your podcast. Brought to you by the Aluminum Company of North Carolina.
Joint pain in your knees, shoulders, or lower back. It can stop you in your tracks. At DaVita Med Spa and Wellness, we offer a revolutionary course of treatment that can eliminate your joint pain and have you back to your old self in no time. Our regenerative therapies actually help repair damaged tissue to eliminate the pain without risky, invasive surgery. If you suffer with joint pain and have been told your only options are medications, steroid injections, or surgery, DaVita Med Spa and Wellness offers non-surgical solutions using your body's own cells with minimal downtime and long-lasting results. Experience personalized, compassionate medical care at its best. Call our office now and see how you can get real, long-lasting relief from joint pain through regenerative medicine and the medical experts at DaVita Med Spa and Wellness, spelled DVIDA. Call 984-333-1313. That's 984-333-1313. 984-333-1313.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your RV, RV wins.
What, are you going to take the RV to the lake or clean out your closet?
RV wins!
Putting the dishes away or taking the RV camping?
RV wins!
Cleaning the fridge or taking a trip to the beach?
RV wins!
You might want to clean the fridge real quick because, mold.
We clean out the fridge, then take the RV out.
With Progressive, you can bundle your RV with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings in your RV. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states and situations.
Barbecue season is back. Hey, it's Ellen.
And this is Sarah Beth.
And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Smokehouse Barbecue Bacon Sandwich is that zesty barbecue sauce. I love that it was a little sweet, a little tangy, and with the mac and cheese,
I feel like I tasted the brown sugar bacon first. It was the absolute best combination. Pro tip, 3 sandwiches are always better than 1.
Order the Smokehouse Barbecue Bacon Sandwich and our Coca-Cola on the Chick-fil-A app for a limited time. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
Are your monthly bills keeping you up at night, wondering how you got so behind? Hey, I'm Roger Moore, CEO of Loan Pronto. I get it. Life is expensive now. Insurance, groceries, cars. And then there's the credit card debt with those obscene interest rates. It's time to regain your financial freedom. And that's what we offer at Loan Pronto, using the power of the equity in your home. We have multiple ways to get you the cash you need, and most clients close in 2 weeks or less, and many don't even require an appraisal. And listen, rates have been plummeting recently. We just locked a homeowner in with an APR in the low 5s, saving her over $1,000 per month, and put $10,000 in her pocket. Life-changing money. Whether you're drowning in debt, have a nosebleed rate you got last year, need home improvements, or simply need cash in your pocket, we can help you accomplish this goal in record time. Call us today and get started with no hard credit pull, just a conversation. LoanPronto.com, 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com. That's LoanPronto.com.
Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLS ConsumerAccess.org.
Welcome to Staples.
Hi, I hear Staples prints it all.
Oh, you bet. Posters, banners.
Can you print it all for Mother's Day?
Oh, of course. Photo gifts like canvas prints, photo puzzles.
Can you print it all for graduation?
Sure can. Custom cards and invites.
Can you print a huge banner with the grad's picture?
Oh, definitely.
Even an embarrassing baby picture?
Oh, those are the best kind.
I know, right?
Print it all for moms and grads at Staples. And right now, get 40% off custom cards, invites, and photo gifts. N75 exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
Kings win the draw. Back Chatfield, they score! Traffic out front, but Chatfield was ready to let it go. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is about time for Monday Sound Off. I'm looking forward to hearing your takes on the sports world, Canes, college football, transfer portal, college basketball, transfer portal. And I can tell you this, we have at least one golf caller waiting for us, which I'm looking forward to. We are lining up the calls. Call in now. Heister Automotive Group Hotline, 919-860-5326 with the topics you'd like to talk about. As we give you one more chance to kind of line them up and have Graham get them ready on the phone lines, we need to hear the details about the Game 1, Round 1 victory for the Canes. For that, here's 2 minutes of gold with Adam Gold.
Hey, it's Adam Golden. I've got 2 minutes for 2 Carolina Hurricanes who didn't start the season with them as Carolina takes a 1-game-to-none lead in the best-of-7 series over the New Jersey Devils, and it's brought to us by Parkway Sleep Health Centers for better sleep. So Logan Stankoven and Taylor Hall came to Carolina at different times, and each time involved Mikko Rantanen. Hall was in some ways the vessel through which Rantanen arrived in Carolina. Remember, it was Chicago that laundered the contract of Rantanen so Carolina could take it on. And they got Taylor Hall sort of, I guess, as a consolation prize. I think Chicago might have thought a booby prize. In the process, Stankoven was the prize received from Dallas when the Hurricanes and Rantanen couldn't get to the altar. And don't you know, those two players were arguably Carolina's best in Game 1 against the Devils. Hall was probably the best player on the ice. I cannot believe he played under 13 minutes. I remember every single one of them during the game. 2 assists and was all over the place. More goals created, it seemed, in my brain than any other player on the ice. And Stankoven finished off one of them on the power play, and he got another goal that came just before then on a pass from Jordan Martinook. Stankoven was great. The identity of the way the Hurricanes play is about Logan Stankoven. Look at how he plays. He fits beautifully with the captain and Martinook. But those two players were phenomenal. Carolina wins 4-1. And I just thought, let me look. Let me see how other Hurricanes did. Look, we're rooting for Marty Necas and Jack Drury. Each had an assist in the 5-1 Avalanche win in Dallas. And I happened to notice 18 minutes of -1 for Mikko Rantanen? I thought you were supposed to put them over the top, Mikko. Look, I'm just kidding. I don't wish ill of Mikko, but I know some of you do, and that was for you. This is from ParkwaySleep.com. Start your journey to a healthier night's sleep. We'll get one good night's sleep in, and then we'll be back for Tuesday's Game 2. Parkway Sleep Health Center. Sound sleep, sound health, sound off for the two new guys.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Thank you very much to Adam Gold for 2 minutes of gold, all about game number 1 being a victory for the Canes. Speaking of 2, game 2, tomorrow, 6 o'clock, home for the Canes. We will, meaning this show, will be live from the concourse, the plaza, outside of the arena from 3 to 5. Then we'll pass things off to Adam for an hour long of Storm Watch, game at 6. Should be a nice early evening game. But stop by. If you're going to be at the game, stop by, say hi. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Speaking of stopping by and saying hi, we want to hear from you. It is a Monday sound off. 919. There you go. Got to let the horns play. 919-860-5326 is the number to call. Call in right now, and you can hear yourself on air giving your sports takes. We'll start with Edward and Wendell. Edward, thank you very much for calling in. Go ahead and sound off. It says you want to sound off on JT. That's Justin Thomas.
Yeah, I think he did pretty well at RBC. His play didn't look well. He had a couple of, I think what put him over was his recovery. He has been like Rory McIlroy, pressured, started really good early in his career, but has been pressured. I don't think this one has been his first one in a long time. I don't think it will help him over the mental thing. I think him and Jordan Spieth will have to win more majors because those were the two guys that everybody thought were going to be the next Tiger Woods along with Rory. Also, this is just to show that the PGA has a shorter longevity than it used to be, and that you need to stay at your top of your game if you want a really long career.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you very much for the call, Edward. I'll respond a bit here because I'm also, and it sounds like you are well on your way to being a diehard golf fanatic. So welcome to the club. The only thing I'll disagree, everything you said is true, right? Spieth and Thomas start with all this hype, and we're going to be all everything, just like Rory, and they've struggled to win the big tournaments. I don't know if it means you have a shorter lifespan, right? Because I still expect those guys to have a chance to compete for majors for a long time. Just because they aren't doing it now doesn't mean they won't. If Justin Thomas won the U.S. Open out there in Charlotte, right, Quail Hollow, I believe is up next, I would not be surprised, right? It's not like they're aging out. Heck, you know what? You know how you know you can play really well, really long?
How's that?
Do you know who has a major win more recently than Jordan Spieth? Both Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson have a major victory more recently than Jordan Spieth, and let's not pretend like those guys are spring chickens. Let's go back to, not in golf terms. The Heaster Automotive Group hotline open for your calls, 919-860-5326. We want to hear from you. Call in now. Dean in Rocky Mount is up next. Dean, thank you for calling in. Go ahead and sound off.
Hey, Tim. So I wanted to sound off on the Canes and the Mudcats real quickly, baseball stuff. So the Canes, they were great yesterday. Logan Stankoven, who has personally become one of my favorites, it has nothing to do with the fact that we're the same height. He had 2 goals yesterday. He played great. And what I'm going to say is stay classy, New Jersey. You're injuring your own out there. Stay classy. So for baseball – NC State
make this one quick because I want to get to the Canes talk. I want to respond there. So go ahead with your final point.
Fair enough. Yeah. So NC State enters top 25, and the hottest team in baseball right now is in Wake County in the Carolina Mudcats. And with that, I bid you adieu.
Thank you very much for the call. As always, phone lines are open, 919-860-5326 for your Monday sound-offs. That's all of your takes, your questions, your comments, your concerns. Involving Markstrom trying to slash Svetch and catching his own defenseman and injuring him. I mean, that's obviously like just on its face, a instant karmic kind of retribution. But also that is the Canes being rewarded for peppering Markstrom with shots and frustrating him. And like if you get Canes energy nonstop for 20 minutes in an intermission and 20 minutes in an intermission and 20 minutes, right? If you get constant Canes pressure defensively on the attack with the forwards, then the other team will lash out. They will. The other and I want to say, it's a guarantee that they're going to injure their own player, but they're going to get out of their happy place. Right, so I'm not sitting there and acting like that was some kind of, completely crazy deal. It's no. If you frustrate the other team and they act frustrated, and you're frustrating them within the rules, and they go outside the rules to express themselves, that is the sort of thing that teams can be rewarded for. Right? It's the Kevin Garnett thing, right? Where Kevin Garnett and Gary Payton, right? They would trash talk you because they knew they were comfortable in the trash talk. And they knew that they would perform better in the nitty-gritty than you would, right? If everybody gets angry, they knew they'd perform better there.
I know that you and Dennis talked on Friday about if the Carolina Hurricanes were ready for the Stanley Cup playoffs, and I just wanted to bring out that a YouTube username by the name of, I don't know if this is even appropriate to say on air, but let's just say an individual said, I say we keep a home goalie and an away goalie. Kucherov is healthy enough to do a full series. Anderson is good enough for 3 really solid games in a series if he's rested. Kucherov is great against high danger chances, which will be the majority of the shots the Devils take. They're going to be on the breakaways. I don't know if we've gotten too far down the rabbit hole yet after just one game of the series to start talking about goaltending. And it might be hard to even talk about with how solid of a performance that Freddie Anderson had, but just your thoughts as we wait for more people to call in for Monday Sound Off.
Heaster Automotive Group hotline is open, 919-860-5326. I'm all for outside-the-box thinking. I don't know if they'll go home and away with it. Like I said, I'm all for outside-the-box thinking. And, well, actually, no. This is something we're going to talk about a little bit later on when it comes to the Canes, and it actually ties the two things together. I think they need to have a killer instinct to end series early, right? I think they need to have an understanding that 4 or 5 games ending their series benefits them for a bunch of reasons. One, they play an exhausting style of hockey, and rest is valuable for everybody. But 2, guys like Freddie Anderson, right? In net, Freddie has played better since they've gone to this 1-1-1 rotation that they used during the regular season with he and Pyotr Kochetkov. If you can get him rested, it's obvious he plays better. So, what's the difference between winning in 5 or winning in 6? A lot for the Canes, right? So after watching game 1, and we started the show by saying that the after that game, right after the way they played, there's no excuse for the Canes to let this one linger. That's not just for like fun and bragging rights. There's real, legitimate benefits to the Canes for that. So end it early, right? If you can get it done in 4, get it done in 4. If not, 5. Anything beyond that, I'm going to be a little perturbed. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is a Monday sound off. Heister Automotive Group hotline open for your calls, 919-860-5326. We have David and Garner up next. You can call in just like David with your takes. Again, 919-860-5326. David, thank you for calling in. Go ahead and sound off.
Hey, Tim, I want to talk a little bit about this NFL draft coming up.
Love it. It is draft week, by the way. It's so much is going on. We haven't even really gotten to mention it, but I promise we will.
And, you know, what do I know? Played a little high school football. I've watched a lot of football. And but on this talent on quarterback, I think they're overlooking Will Howard. I would pick Will Howard, Ohio State, number 1 pick.
Number 1? Okay.
Number 1.
There you go. Appreciate it.
And another comment on the kid from Tennessee going to UCLA. I think that guy is very overrated.
Okay. Well, what's his rating? What do you think people are saying about him as a player?
I have no idea. I mean,
okay.
nobody's going to listen to me anyway. But I mean, the kid from Tennessee, man, he's not that good a passer. I saw a couple of games that Tennessee played, and he needs to really improve his game and make all those throws that they check him out at the compound. And I believe Will Howard can make most all of those throws that the pros require.
All right, David, I appreciate the call. Call back in anytime. I'll address each of those individual. One, the reason why I said what is his rating is I don't think that Nico Iamaleava has like a super high public score right now. I think a lot of people are saying what David just said, which is he's not that good, can't make he's not as talented as he thinks he is. So, to call him overrated would mean someone out there is fighting for him, right? He was making $2-something million at Tennessee, hit the transfer portal looking for 4. These are all the reported numbers. Had to settle for under 2, right? Like 1.8, whatever it was. So, I think the rating might be accurate, but more because people are thinking like you, David, than people aren't. And then Will Howard, number 1 overall pick. Listen, I like Will Howard. I think he might be a little underrated as far as the draft goes. I think he could go higher than some of the mock drafters are saying. Not number 1 overall. He's an older guy, right? He's played a lot of college basketball, so you would think that limits his ceiling a bit. Bigger than you think, runs decently well. I think he's a bit underrated, and I do think his rating is somewhere late day 2 or day 3 quarterback pick. I think he could go earlier than that, but his skill set, his ceiling doesn't make him one of the top picks in the draft.
As we wait for more callers to call in on Monday Sound Off, 919-86. Oh, go ahead, Tim.
I was going to say, we can both say it. Ready?
It's your host.
On 3. 1, 2, 3. 919-860-5326.
There we go. Let's visit to your conversation you and Dennis had on Friday about Jalen Walker being linked to the Carolina Panthers. And Georgia Rivers 6164 said Penn State literally built their entire offense around Tyler Warren, and no one could stop him. Jalen Walker is a good player, but Tyler Warren is the return of Gronk, which I think was just a funny example to use there at the end of that sentence.
By the way, Tyler Warren is a really good player. If you watch his tape this year, it's unreal. 104 catches as a tight end. That also doubled as a wildcat quarterback, and he'd go into the backfield. He'd do a bunch of stuff. He's a 1-year breakout, and he's a 1-year senior year breakout. What I mean by that is he had 400 yards receiving as a junior. He had 1,233 yards receiving as a senior. And tight ends are notoriously difficult to predict. Look at tight ends drafted through history, right? And some of them are as dominant as Warren was this year, maybe even for longer, right? Earlier in their career. But top 10 tight ends drafted in history, okay? Kyle Pitts. Don't think the Falcons love that one. TJ Hawkinson was drafted to the Lions, ended up being traded away. Really good player. I like him a bunch. Not sure he's been worth the 8th overall pick. Eric Ebron is another one. Again, a UNC guy. But I don't know if people are super excited about that. Meanwhile, the Gronks, the Kittles, the Kelseys, these are all guys that were not drafted in the first round of the draft. So tight end is a notoriously difficult one to predict by looking at draft history at the top of the draft. So, you know, and Brock Bowers last year is what everybody's going to point to, but he was really good at Georgia every year. He wasn't a one-year breakout. Just to give you the devil's advocate point of that argument. Robert in Raleigh is next up. Heister Automotive Group hotline, open for your Monday sound-offs, 919-860-5326. Robert, you want to sound off on Logan Stankoven? I want to hear it. Go ahead and sound off.
I promise to stay on topic. I would like to thank Stankoven for all of us people who are 5'8" and shorter, because when he's standing next to his line mates, he doesn't even look 5'8". So what a pickup for the Canes. They seem to find a way to get these guys to come in and score and score and score. And I'd like to bring up one thing from last week. You did the father and son in professional sports.
Yep.
And nobody brought this up, and it's kind of lost on most people. I know this because of my age.
Okay.
In 1968, I was in elementary school in New Haven, Connecticut, and our idol was Calvin Hill. So when people talk about fathers and sons in professional sports, I'm going to go Calvin Hill and Grant Hill.
That's a good one.
That's my father and son. Hey, can I do one more?
Sure, go ahead. I like your energy.
Okay, can I go one number game on you?
Okay.
And the only reason I'm doing this is because I met him during the March Madness when a certain team I root for was playing, and I brought your show up to this person.
Okay.
And he started getting this big smile on his face. So I'm going to go numbers game with Mr. Donnelly. You ready?
Okay, and for those of you watching on YouTube, I have put my computer down so I can't see it, and my hands are in the air, so I'm not typing. I'm doing this on the up and up.
I got one question. I'm going college football, Delaware Blue Hens. I need the jersey number.
Okay.
Eric Endress.
Eric Anderson, is that where you're going?
Yes.
Okay, punter. Ooh,
yes.
That's my guy.
Go ahead.
He's a little younger than me. That's my guy, Virginia Beach.
49.
I was going to go 29. I'm sorry, Eric.
49.
I was going to go 29.
But listen, hey, he loves the hell out of you.
Hey, teammates,
I do know
man.
that he was an underclassman, and so yeah, I got you on the numbers game. Thanks for taking my call. Talk to you in the fall.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Shout out to Eric Anderson. He was the punter probably my senior year, and then became a really like Delaware legend as I moved on. You want to know a fun fact about Eric Anderson?
What's that?
You know Taj Boyd from Clemson?
Yeah.
Taj Boyd was the quarterback at his high school. Right.
Okay.
This is just a fun fact about someone none of you know, but it's a fun fact. Taj Boyd was quarterback at their high school, didn't win a state championship, I believe. Then Taj Boyd graduates, goes to Clemson. Anderson takes over at quarterback, wins the state championship the next year, and then goes on to be a college punter at Delaware. So Taj Boyd, not as good a quarterback as Eric Anderson, as he would tell you. I believe that story is true. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Monday sound off is open. Heister Automotive Group hotline, 919-860-5326. Matt in Wake Forest wants to sound off on some NFL news, a Commanders fan perhaps. Matt, thank you very much for calling in. Go ahead and sound off.
Hey, thank you for having me. Daily listener, first-time caller.
Welcome.
I'm 33, been a diehard Commanders fan since I was born.
Okay.
Family from the area. At least in my history, this is the first time that this franchise has been anything successful, aside from maybe RG3's rookie season.
Okay.
With respect to the draft and it being draft week, and my recollection is we have a late round first round draft pick.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you see somebody that's going to consistently keep Jaden Daniels safe, I would like to see them possibly trade back and try and get some draft capital to get him some weapons to kind of prolong our success for the years to come. Thanks for taking my call.
All right. You did stumble into one of my pet peeves. Appreciate the call, though. Thank you very much. And I do think certain fan bases, you have to like it's almost like, I don't know, meeting someone in prison and saying, like, how long have you been in for? right? Well, I've been a fan for life. I'm 33 years old. I was born into it. It's like I've been here 10 years, and I got another 8 on the sentence. So I appreciate that. The thing is, I think every team would love to trade back and still get what they would pick at 29, right? Like, oh, get some weapons for him and trade back. I think unless there's an offensive tackle you love or an offensive lineman you love, because like you said, Jaden Daniels needs to be protected. There's nothing wrong with taking a weapon at 29, right? You might be able to get like a Travion Henderson. You might be able to get like an Emeka Egbuka. There's some good weapons. You might be able to get a Colston Loveland. Who knows? These are the kind of the running back, wide receiver, tight ends that you're seeing mocked maybe a little before Washington, but who knows? What I will say is if quarterbacks are available, if Shador, Jackson Dart, all those guys are available, the end of the first becomes interesting because you might be able to trade back just a couple picks into the second round because teams want that they want that extra year of control that you get with drafting them in the first round, that extra year of quarterback control. Micah in Morrisville. I'm glad we get to hear from Micah in Morrisville because he is one of the biggest Canes callers that we have, and the Canes are 1-0 in the first round. So, Micah, what were your reactions? Go ahead and sound off.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Mm-hmm.
Reactions are, I think the Svetch and KK Hall line, I think I said this a couple weeks ago, but if they continue to, I don't think they scored a goal, honestly, other than the empty net, but they were dominant.
Mm-hmm.
And, they were all over it. They play like that past this series deeper, I mean, we're going to be having a big-time run. And then I also think this just gives me so much satisfaction because I was never a huge Brett Pesce fan. Really nice guy and, good guy in the community and everything, but I was never a huge fan ever, or Dougie. And I thought Pesce was borderline awful every time he was on the ice, and he was getting exposed. It was hilarious. And then Dougie was trying to act tough when everybody knows he's not tough, and he was also getting coned. So that was just very good to see, and I think they're going to be getting exposed the whole series, to be honest.
Appreciate it, Micah. How'd you like Jarvis lighting up Pesce?
I thought it was hilarious because he didn't even hit him that hard.
Yeah.
It shows how soft Pesce is, so it was hilarious. But I love Jarvis. Let's go.
Appreciate it, Micah. Thanks for calling in. Last one here before the top of the hour. We have Steven in Youngsville. Steven, thank you very much for calling in. What do you want to sound off on?
Hey, Tim, man, I'll be brief. I just wanted to shout out with Justin Thomas, man, winning the RBC. I thought that was awesome golf, especially after one of the greatest Masters I've personally watched and been invested in this past year. From where Justin Thomas was last year in the dumps while Scheffler was going on his run, man, see him come back, super awesome, making that long birdie on 18 in the playoff. Even better, man. Just wanted to give him a shout out. That's awesome to see Justin back on top.
Appreciate the call. Call back in anytime. And you're right. And actually, I think Justin Thomas kind of got robbed of the feel-good fuzzies, warm and fuzzies from everyone around golf because, we had just given all of our warm and fuzzies to Rory McIlroy. We didn't have any warm and fuzzies saved for Justin Thomas. But for the real golf nerds, this weekend was the definition of how joyful and how sad golf can be as far as, competition. Because Justin Thomas, I think he was on a 3-year win drought or something crazy, and he wins the RBC Heritage, which is a storied course, very high paid, right? It's an elevated event, and you could tell after he wins in the playoff how much of a weight was off his shoulders. Meanwhile, in the alternate event, the Corrales Punta Cana, Joel Damon, who's one of the nicest guys on tour, one of the best stories, right? He's a cancer survivor. If you read anything about Joel Damon, he's a super nice dude. He was really good in the Netflix show. But he went bogey, 16, 17, 18 to lose by 1. He is a one-time PGA career winner, one-time tournament winner. So it's comes with PGA Tour card for the future, comes with money, comes with security, comes with so much. And he went bogey, including missing a tap-in 2-footer. From me to the microphone stand. If he makes that putt, he wins the event. So finishes in second. Brutal for him. And you really got to see the joy of victory with Justin Thomas, the agony of defeat just, in one other tournament with Joel Damon. So if you're a golf fan, you knew everything I just told you. If not, there's a little story for you. Thank you to everybody that called in for a Monday Sound Off. Feel free to continue commenting on our YouTube live stream. We might bring up some of those takes as the show goes on. So 99.9 The Fan on YouTube. Subscribe while you're there. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is NFL Draft Week, everybody. Thursday, first round of the NFL Draft. What are the Panthers doing wrong? I'll tell you, coming up after this.
Hey, Carolina Panthers fans, it's Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan. We're in the offseason, but that doesn't mean me and my co-host, WRAL TV's Chris Lee, take a break from our podcast, Panthers Playbook. In every episode, we'll keep you up to date on Panthers news as the NFL Draft approaches. Insight on free agents and prospects, plus all the insider info on who the Panthers want to pick at number 8. Follow and subscribe to Panthers Playbook wherever you discover your favorite podcast or watch on YouTube.
Dear McDonald's, your breakfast menu? Fire. 10s across the board. I could be happy with anything, even though I order the same thing every time. Thanks for not judging me. I'll try something new next time. Maybe.
Get your faves for less. Buy a sausage McMuffin with egg for $2.50 at any size Sprite for $1.49. Price of participation may vary, cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
As America's leading business lender, Bank of America is on your corner and in your corner, right here in the Triangle. With $215 billion in business loans and over 3,700 business specialists across the nation, we help businesses thrive so communities prosper. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA Club World Cup 2025. Copyright 2025 Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it. But not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. HIMS.com/JOY.
Organize easy. Organize tough. Customize your work truck or van with Upfit Solutions from Van Products. Steel and aluminum shelving, toolboxes, data files, cabinets, drawers, conduit carriers, ladder racks, everything safe and secure. Everything built as unbreakable as you by Adrian Steel. Backed by the best warranty in the business. 3 years, 36,000 miles. Everything custom installed by Van Products so you know it's done right. From a single work rig to a fleet, choose custom installed Upfit Solutions from Van Products.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Workers' comp can be tricky, but my law firm will be on top of all the complicated paperwork and sneaky deadlines so that all of your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. If you've been hurt on the job, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. We continue to see mild temperatures, warmer than normal today through the rest of the week. But starting tomorrow, a new weather pattern will bring us isolated showers and thunderstorms as well. But today does stay dry. We'll see highs in the mid-80s, mid-60s for tonight, and tomorrow's high mid-80s again.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones down 972 points at 38,170.
Let's move the chains. Time for football at 4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Football at 4. It is draft week, everybody. This is big for me. I'm a big NFL draft nerd. Draft Nick, draft fan, whatever you want to call it. I like trying to measure my evaluation process against those in the league. And if there's one thing that I think should go without saying before a draft, where you're going to be maneuvering to try to get the best value at every pick. It's be careful with your information. Be careful. Loose lips sink ships. You don't want anybody to know your next move. Panthers might not be the best at this. They might be a little gossipy, little gabby, little loose-lipped, if you will. The Panthers don't hide their infatuation much, and I do think that forces them at times to feel like they need to be aggressive. Do you know what would be a bad feeling? If I'm an NFL decision maker, a GM, a director of football ops, a VP of whatever, a head coach, right? I am somebody who is in the decision-making room, and all of a sudden something happens where every single mock draft that comes out says I am taking the player that I want to take.
Almost like we're seeing it right now with the Carolina Panthers and Jalen Walker.
Seems like it. And then I go back to last year, and I don't know, this might not be their fault, but also they didn't have to say it. Remember when Xavier Legette was talking to the media before the draft last year? And I have the quote in front of me.
Please do it in your best, Xavier Legette.
No shot there. But I believe it was a CBS article I grabbed this from. This is from Xavier Legette before the draft. I've met with the Panthers about 4 or 5 times. The relationship, it just keeps continuing to grow. They're really hoping I can make it to the second round. They keep on telling me if I'm sitting at 33, they're going to take me.
I mean, wow, just exposed the whole draft plan right there.
Now, part of that might be the player being not, super secretive. But also, if you're going to say that, you have to tell them 900 times, do not tell anybody. Do not tell anybody, or you don't tell them. I wouldn't be telling players I'm going to take them for sure. No shot, because they might do what just happened. So what happened? They ended up having to trade up from the 33rd pick up to the 32nd pick, probably because there were a bunch of teams there that needed wide receivers, and they were feeling like, ooh, everybody knows we want Xavier Legette. We better go get him. Well, it seems like everybody knows they want Jalen Walker this time. Now, I will give you an escape door to this conversation, right? I'll give you the way out, which is if they don't want Jalen Walker, genius, right? Because then they truly are throwing up, maybe they learned from the Xavier Legette situation, and they truly are throwing up the biggest smokescreen we've seen, because I've heard Dave Canales talking highly about Jalen Walker as a person. We've heard Dan Morgan saying, we see Dan Morgan, or sorry, well, Dan Morgan sees Dan Morgan? No. Dan Morgan, the GM, has told the media that he sees Jalen Walker as an edge rusher, which is inherently telling us he values him more, right? If a player is either an off-ball linebacker or an edge rusher, and an edge rusher is seen as one of the most premium positions in football, and an off-ball linebacker is seen as a less premium position that you don't usually draft very high, by telling everyone you see him as an edge rusher, you're saying, I see him as more valuable. If they want Jalen Walker, guess who knows it? Everybody. So let's say there's a team picking 10th, right? Panthers are picking 8th or 11th or whenever. If they want Jalen Walker, they know they have to go above the Panthers. If the Jets want Jalen Walker, they're picking 7th. Maybe they were thinking, well, we could trade back a little bit here. We could trade back and still get Jalen Walker. But now they don't, because everybody says the Panthers want him. Secrecy is key. I get made fun of in my fantasy leagues because I am secret with my evaluations. I don't tell you anything. And they're like, oh, goodness, it's fantasy football. And I'm like, well, why would I tell you? I'm competing against you. I'm trying to win over here. And I don't have $1 billion franchise at my back. I don't have hundreds of millions of dollars in salary cap to spend, and I need to get value out of every dollar. Stop talking. Whoever's talking, stop it. Because guess what else that does? It gives you negotiating chips, right? It gives you ways to make friends in the league. If a team comes to you and goes, hey, man, be honest with me. Pick number 8, what are you thinking? I'm considering of trading up to 10, but if you're going to take the guy, I'm not going to spend much time on it. By the way, you don't have to give them anything, right? You could say, I'm going to play it close to my vest here. I'm not going to let you see my cards. Or you can think, all right, let me build up some goodwill here. Let me clue them in on what I'm thinking and give them a morsel of info. So now we're bonded here, right? We're in the trenches together. We're in the trust tree. We're in the trust circle. How about that? Well, can't do that if everybody knows you're taking Jalen Walker. By the way, Jalen Walker, this is pretty much universal. And I say, the reason why I preface every draft conversation with saying I am truly in deep in the weeds and I follow all the accounts and I am a nerd and I like this stuff is because I can tell you with full certainty the stuff that everybody is saying. Right? This isn't like I saw it twice and I'm telling you everybody's saying it. It's like every insider, every source, every leak. Jalen Walker and Emeka Egbuka, the wide receiver from Ohio State, are the two win-in-the-room guys in this draft. They're the two, when you meet with them, when you do your combine interview, when you have them for dinner, when you're talking to them in front of a whiteboard, those are the two that everybody universally walks away saying, goodness gracious, what a human being. What a football mind. What a leader. What that's the type of person I want in my locker room. Now, I don't know if he is trade-up worthy as a prospect, right? I don't know if Jalen Walker is somebody who's going to sit there and say, well, if the Panthers are going to take him at 8, we have to get to 6 or 7. I don't know if he is, right? Because he is an undersized edge if you think of him as an edge rusher, and he is if you think of him as a tweener, kind of off ball, maybe that's not worth the pick leverage. So I'm not saying you're going to get jumped, but I am saying there's a better chance you're going to get jumped if you keep gabbing to anybody that'll listen. And I kind of do hope that this entire conversation can be played back for us on Friday, and you can say, you fell for it, right? Jalen Walker was somebody traded up and got him, or he was available at 8 and they didn't take him. Like, I hope they're pulling a fast one. How awesome would it be if they're pulling a fast one? Dan Morgan sitting there twirling his mustache, going like, yes, we will make everybody think that we like Jalen Walker, when in actuality, we are all hoping Teteroa McMillan falls to us at 8. Like, maybe that's what they're doing. Based on last season, maybe not, but maybe they learned their lesson and they're course correcting. Or he's thinking, we'll let everybody think we want Jalen Walker, so that way people will come to us, and then we can negotiate and trade back a little bit, get some more assets, and all of a sudden we have about, 2 to 3 picks in the 3rd, 4th round maybe? Yeah, I mean, if you can trade, it's really hard to know how deep in the weeds they are. Because if we're being honest, Dave Canales and Dan Morgan don't strike me as game players, right? They almost value, I'm upfront and honest. You ask me a question, I'm going to answer it. And right. I'm going which is good so many times of the year. The month before the NFL draft, feel free to be coy, right? Feel free to talk up everybody. Feel free to say, well, we see him as an off-ball linebacker. Then draft him and go, well, we see him as an edge rusher. It's you don't need everybody to know everything going on in your business. It's why, I would listen to all my scouts if I were a GM. I would have them in the building as often as possible. We'd be watching film together. But there would be a big board that no more than 4 or 5 people know about. There would be a draft plan that if I'm the GM, there'd probably be one trusted lieutenant, right, an assistant GM of some kind, a head coach, and then the owner and whoever the owner wants to know, because they're the boss and they get to decide. But I'm trying to keep it 4 people. And I'm making sure they know that if it gets out, it's one of us 4, and that's going to be an issue. Secrecy is paramount this time of year in the NFL. And then you can decide what messages do get out, right? You can use Schefter to your advantage. You can use McShay to your advantage. Give them 2 truths and a lie. Let them go do your bidding for you. Right? Adam Schefter put out an article today that literally, it's I'm emptying my notebook before the draft. It's on ESPN.com. You can go check it out. There's one section that literally says, these players on rookie contracts may be available to trade. I'm like, all right, so these are players that GMs told you, get their name out there. We want offers on. Yeah, there you go. It's like, I don't know, perhaps, maybe they could be available. These specific 16 names or whatever.
It's one game of telephone, except when it gets to Schefter, that's when it starts getting jumbled around a little bit.
And it's not stupid, right? If you want to sell them, you just want offers, what do you do? Like if you have a car for sale, what do? You get the soap out and you write on the back windshield, for sale, with a phone number, right? And then when you're driving around, your phone rings. That's what they're doing. They're using their information to get their desired result. Don't just talk to talk. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have a Cup check-in coming up next. Our very own Adam Gold spoke with Trip Tracy, the team analyst. All of it presented by Carolina Ale House. It is that time of the year, playoffs time of the year, so we'll be getting Cup check-ins often here on the show. So that's coming up next. We have a winners and losers segment and more. Don't go anywhere.
Need more Stanley Cup chatter, Canes fans? Listen afternoons at 12:15 and 4:15 for our Cup check-in. Served up by Carolina Ale House. Adam Gold talks with hockey's best, past and present, bringing you the latest insight on the chase for Lord Stanley's Cup. It's the Cup check-in on 99.9 The Fan. Served up by Carolina Ale House. Come to Carolina Ale House Cary for away game watch parties throughout the playoffs, or visit carolinaalehouse.com/Canes.
It's bow time. Yep, it's eating time again. Now you could unload groceries, chop, dice, mince, preheat, heat, slap around the smoke detector, and then celebrate with a big old pile of dishes. But if you're tired of cooking, or tired of sorta cooking, it's time to feed the whole family with Bojangles Fried Chicken Family Meal. With Bojangles' famous chicken, fixins, biscuits, and tea, you can forget the cookbook and spend some well-earned quality time with a delicious dinner from Bojangles. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to stop whatever you're doing for some of that bodacious Bojangles flavor. Satisfy your craving for flavor and your passion for boneless chicken with Bojangles 4-piece Supremes Dinner. 4 perfectly seasoned, Cajun-fried, whole breast tenderloin fillets. Choice of fixin', a made-from-scratch buttermilk biscuit, and Bojangles' legendary iced tea. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's bow time.
The sports calendar is heating up, and with ESPN Bet Sportsbook, you can go from checking news to stats to placing bets in a couple of taps. Stream games, bet live, and get exclusive offers when you link your ESPN account. Right now, you can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet app and sign up with promo code USL to get started today. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED, because millions of men experience it. But not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to Hims.com/joy. HIMS.com/JOY.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it'd go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. 'Cause I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Come celebrate Global Golf's 4th anniversary sale this week. Don't miss your chance to get a pre-owned TaylorMade Stealth 2 driver starting at $179. Apparel marked down 80% and trade in your current clubs and receive 50% bonus trade-in value. Browse thousands of used clubs, all from top brands like Callaway, TaylorMade, Mizuno, Ping, Titleist, and more. Visit Global Golf today, located on 7320 ACC Boulevard, North Raleigh. Global Golf, home of the best deals in golf. Trade-in bonus applicable towards the purchase of new 2025 products.
Stankoven with a drive. He scores! Martinook comes up with a loose puck. He feeds the rookie and Logan Stankoven's first goal in the playoffs for the Canes.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That was the first goal of the postseason for Logan Stankoven for the Canes, and he got his second of the postseason later in that game. Pretty good. The new guys know how to make a rival. Mark Jankowski in his first game scored 2 goals. That was during the regular season. He wasn't playing in game 1 of the round 1 for the Canes against the Devils. So Stankoven said, well, that's okay. In my playoff debut, I'll score 2 goals. And Taylor Hall has just been playing great.
2 assists yesterday.
2 assists yesterday, 1 on the power play. I'm a big Taylor Hall fan.
Honestly, Taylor Hall yesterday, I don't know about you, Tim, because I know Rod Brindamore was asked by Trip Tracy prior to the game, who does he think the hero, I'm paraphrasing a little bit, who does he see the hero be in of the playoffs? You know, that's where a lot of storylines happen. Of course, Rod gave the coach answer and said, well, everybody needs to contribute, but I was kind of hoping that would be Taylor Hall. Like, the 2 assists that he had were great passes, and I was sitting there thinking to myself, all right, now he's due for a goal. Like, he was my unsung hero yesterday of the game.
All right, I like it. Trip Tracy, who you hear during the broadcast, 99.9 The Fan, Canes insider and analyst, working with Mike Maniscalco. He joined Adam Gold earlier today, and we have part of that conversation for you right here. It's what we call the Cup Check-In with Adam Gold, presented by Carolina Ale House. Enjoy.
Trip Tracy, who joins us from Lenovo Center. Let's do a little bit of news here. Taylor Hall not on the ice. We just talked about him for a little bit and how impactful he was in the game yesterday. Tyson Jost is taking his spot on that line with Jesperi Kotkaniemi and Andrei Svechnikov, which to me tells me that Rod Brindamore doesn't think that it'll be a problem for Hall to play tomorrow. How do you read it?
Well, I mean, the first thing that I think about AG and practice, the formal part of it, guys will stay on for a bit, just ended, so a crisp 28-minute practice here on the off day, which is about the time that I would expect. You know, you're trying to capture the moment of a heck of an effort in winning game 1. Taylor Hall, and, you know, hopefully not significant, but that hit from Daniel Sprong at the end of the game was a bad hit. And I say that because, you know there's all sorts of message sending, even if the game is well in hand in the Stanley Cup playoffs. But Sprong there right near the Carolina blue line, he knew that the door was open on the defensive side of Carolina's bench, and he still finished that hit. Like, that was a tough hit, plain and simple. I'll be curious. I don't know if Sprong will be in the lineup because, you know, did love his game. And we'll get an update on Taylor Hall shortly and hope that it's not anything other than maintenance and he'll be in the lineup. I do agree with your assessment of where Jost is, but I did not like that hit at the time, in particular because there's no question that Sprong would have known that door was open, on the defensive side, and you've got seconds to play in a 4-1 already decided hockey game.
Yeah, I mean, just to quickly close that point, in case if Rod thought that there was a good chance that Hall wouldn't play in Game 2, he would have just put Roslovic up on that line and put Jankowski in Roslovic's space on the fourth line. That would be the easiest way to fix that. But by putting Jost there, he's basically just a placeholder, I would imagine, for Taylor Hall. So let me get to the goonery real quick about the Devils, because I thought there was significant goonery by the Devils. And I get it's playoff hockey, and we don't want to be Pollyanna ish about this, but Timo Meier went out of his way on 2 occasions, unsuccessful really both times, to goon it up. One with a high elbow, I think on Aho that he missed, and the other, or Jarvis, and then going after Jackson Blake. He did eventually trip him, but he had to go through some gymnastics to get his leg out enough to trip Blake. Then you had the Jacob Markstrom stick swinging incident, which cost him his own player. What do you make of, is that just frustration? I thought the Meier stuff was early in the game.
I think, when I think playoff hockey, things are going to happen. I think my biggest takeaway, my dear friend, is that Carolina was by far more impactful physically to help themselves win the hockey game. And right from the get-go, starting with that Meier hit on Jackson Blake, the Devils did not play with maturity or composure from that standpoint. And it continued throughout.
Yeah.
You and I have spoken a ton about in our many hot stoves about Jackson Blake being able to read the tea leaves, knowing when somebody's trying to finish him and protecting himself as best he can. That's been something that's been very encouraging about Blake and the way that he's played. I guarantee you Timo Meyer, when he tried to do that right along the Carolina bench, he was fully cognizant of how well Jackson Blake has played, how important he is to the lineup. Markstrom, had he landed that slash, I believe, on Svechnikov, that could have been a suspendable offense.
Yes.
But what I focus on more than anything is how Carolina physically took advantage of the game while New Jersey had it to a detriment with coming off their game. I mean, I think about those two big hits in the second period in particular. Seth Jarvis, friends in the playoffs on Brett Pesce. You know how much we both love Brett Pesce, but that's what you've got to do. And then Andrei Svechnikov, who had a terrific game. That was an amazing moment because everybody knows that it was the trio of Dougie Hamilton, Warren Fogle, and Andrei Svechnikov that was so close Andrei's rookie year when he grabbed us all and said hello and made that unbelievable impression. Dougie coming back from injury, when he received that hit late in the second period, it was like Dougie was like, Andre, you can't hit me. I'm your friend. You could just see it. And then he got away with whether you want to call it a cross check or a slash.
Yeah.
And Dougie was fortunate he didn't get a penalty. But in terms of winning playoff hockey, the Hurricanes with the home crowd behind them, and we know how physical, game ones are, really in a lot of ways is physical of any game that you'll see in the playoffs because teams are fresh and amped up. The Hurricanes clearly on all levels won that department, which I find to be, it's just one game, but it leaves me encouraged.
Once again, that was our very own Adam Gold with our very own Trip Tracy, 99.9 The Fan, Canes insider and analyst for the Cup Check-In with Adam Gold, presented by Carolina Ale House. Good insight into last night's win for the Canes over the Devils. Speaking of a winner, I did have one of those over the weekend with our ladder challenge. Now, Dennis he had some things pop up, so he's not producing the show today, but Graham, he did send you a ladder challenge pick.
Yes, he did. So since you're the defending champion, how does this work? Do you get to go with your pick first, or?
Correct. So over the weekend, Ja Morant hit the over on points plus rebounds plus assists for me. I just needed 30. He had 22 points, 7 rebounds, 9 assists. So easy winner there. Brought me up to, I had to start over because I if you were listening, I made a whole bunch of mistakes. But that brings me up to $11.11 after starting over with $10. We try to, just keep winning. So it's a slow roll thing for us until eventually you're making money. Tonight, I'm rolling with Nikola Jokic. I need 40 or more points plus rebounds plus assists. I've had some success with this in the postseason for the NBA. I'm going to try to keep it rolling. Denver leads the series 1-0. Jokic is that offense, right? They fired the coach. It's Jokic. Minus 900, so it should be a pretty good winner for me. $11.11 turned into $12.34 if it hits. That's where I'm at today for the ladder challenge. What's Dennis doing?
Big on the NBA playoffs right now. I see you, Tim. Dennis is going to go Cavs and Habs over 3.5 goals at minus 800. I'm assuming that his bet over the weekend hit because he also said that $12.94 will turn into $14.55 if that hits. So, again, he has Washington Capitals, Montreal Canadiens over 3.5 goals tonight at minus 800.
Yes, it must have won because if it didn't, he would have been starting with $10. So we'll see how that plays. We'll explain more tomorrow. But there's not much time, and we need to keep it rolling. So that is the ladder challenge here on The Drive. Let's jump to winners and losers here on The Drive. This is how winners and losers goes. We just name who's won and who's lost over the last week, but we are not just looking for this team score more points than that team. We're looking for more in-depth reasoning, more of a vibe. Who is a winner over the last week in more than just the scoreboard? And I have a bunch here in front of me. Graham has some as well. If you want to send some in, you can. 99.9 The Fan, YouTube, and the live stream. You can always comment there right underneath our live stream. Hello, everybody out there in YouTube land. You can also just send it to me on Twitter, at Donnelly Sports. Who's a winner and who's a loser of the last week? At Donnelly Sports on Twitter, x.com, at DONNELLYSPORTS. Follow me while you're there, but you can send in your winners and losers. I'll get us started. You know who's a big old winner?
Canes?
Yeah, I'm getting more specific, but you're on the right path. Eric Tulsky.
All right.
Is there a better feeling than your trade acquisition scoring 2 goals in his first playoff game with the team, while your other trade acquisition has 2 assists and leads an absolutely dominant line? Logan Stankoven scores 2. Taylor Hall plays great, has 2 assists, leads a line that was really, really good in Hall, Kokaniemi, Svechnikov. So let's first hear from Rod Brindamore.
Okay.
Rod Brindamore on Hall and Stankoven's impact in their first playoff game with the team.
Both of those guys were, really impactful tonight. Obviously on the goals, that's kind of the obvious one. But you're right, Halsey had really that was a great pass, but he had a bunch of other opportunities and that he created basically on his own. So, those are two great additions for us.
So that's part of it, right? Because remember when you make high-profile trades like Eric Tulsky made, there's going to be critics. Everyone's going to look under it with a magnifying glass, comb through it with a fine-tooth comb. So it looks like he acquired some good ones. Also some picks into the future, if you remember. And then there's this other thing of Mikko Rantanen and Dallas losing 5-1 to Colorado. Mikko goes -2 in plus-minus, no goals, no points on 3 shots, and at times looked like he was just going through the motions, if we're being real. At times he looked like he was just out for a skate.
Oh, where have we seen that before? I wonder.
We didn't see it in the postseason. There's one thing, he's adjusting. He doesn't know if he wants to be here. He's in all the trade deadline rumors. It's another to be, you're playing Colorado in the first round of the postseason, and you look like you should be wearing mittens and holding hot cocoa as you skate around a bonfire on a pond somewhere.
Not even that. Dallas as a team just got their pants pulled around their ankles, and every time they tried to pull them back up, Colorado would just push them back over again.
So, by the way, it's one game, but it's got to be pretty fun for Eric Tulsky to be like, see, look at that. You didn't win the race, but you got out to a 4 or 5 meter head start right out the blocks. You're doing well.
I wonder if Tulsky had the game. Well, no, because they played the night before the Hurricanes did. So I was going to say, if it was at the same time as the Hurricanes game yesterday, which we'll get to that in a little bit. I'm sure he had his laptop out like he's had before, and he was just YouTube. What am I trying to say here? YouTube live-ing it.
There you go. You can YouTube live us, by the way.
Yes, exactly.
Fan on YouTube.
But yeah, I'm sure Tulsky's feeling on top of the world right now.
Yeah. So he's a winner. Loser? Colorado football. Why in the heck are you retiring Shedeur Sanders' jersey number? That's weak. That's weak. And here's why. You've set precedent. If Cordell Stewart doesn't have his number retired for the Colorado Buffalo, then Shedeur Sanders doesn't get his number retired. There are teams, by the way, that are generous. You get a jersey retired, and you get a jersey retired. If you're that team, retire your captains every year. I don't care. Retire whoever's your leading rusher every year. I don't care. But if you can't highlight your son, if you're Deion Sanders, at the expense of greats that built the program. I'm going to go Will Wade with it. Will Wade, head coach, NC State, during his intro press conference, he said, I want you to drink from the well, but don't forget those that dug it. I want Shedeur Sanders to be a legend in Colorado. He went over there, he took over a program that was horrendous, and they improved while he was their quarterback. And he was good, and he's going to be a high draft pick and all of that. Can't do it at the expense of those that dug the well, right? I want him to drink from the Colorado well. Just that's a problem, and it does feel like it's because he's the coach's son. Deion Sanders responded to the criticism as only Deion could. This is Coach Prime, sorry. Here's Coach Prime with the defense of the retirement.
Same thing with Rashawn Salam, right? How long did we wait? I say we because I'm a part of CU now. How long did we wait?
23 years after his Heisman.
After his what?
After his Heisman?
Yeah. How many years after his death?
1. Less than 1.
So we got to die to get recognized. Ain't nobody saying nothing in the church right now. Everybody got something to say otherwise. Right. Hey man, give people their flowers while they can enjoy them and they can smell them. That's how I get down. You guys are doing a good job. I always tell you guys are doing a good job right now. I don't wait. I'm not built like that.
Interesting.
Do you know what the mistake he did there?
What's that?
Rashawn Salam as the example, because Salam won a Heisman, so Travis Hunter's number can be retired, Why does Salam getting his number retired have anything to do with Shedeur Sanders having his number retired? Give people their flowers. I'm with it, but give the right amount of flowers. Do you have some winners and losers, Graham?
I do, but before I get to my winner, I just want to recognize Smashville Mayor, who is watching us on YouTube Live right now and provided a winner.
Smashville Mayor. All right, we got a little Preds fan.
He said, winner, Abs in the original Miko trade.
Martin H. is playing well. Jack Drury is playing well. But the Canes also got Stankoven and Hall and picks. So I'm not maybe. I mean, I think the Avs are doing well, but I also think the Avs would like to have Mikko Rantanen because obviously him alongside McKinnon is pretty good. But I don't need to go back and relitigate a trade that happened a long time ago. But thank you for writing in, Smashville Mayor.
Smashville Mayor also said his loser, Dallas, Mavs, and Stars for brutal, long-term, terrible trades. Smashville, I couldn't agree with you more. My winner, just because Dennis is not here, but I'm sure that maybe he would have tied this in somehow. WrestleMania 41 weekend, folks. Las Vegas.
It was a good one?
It was I'm going to say night one was better than night two, but the highlight of last night's main event, John Cena winning the WWE Championship and breaking Ric Flair's 16-time world champion. Tim, I know that you don't keep up with wrestling that much. We had Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy on. I know you went like a rabbit hole of seeing them jump off ladders and stuff. But obviously you know who Ric Flair is, North Carolina legend. You know who John Cena is, 25 years in the biz. He's currently on his farewell tour, so he said, I'm taking a year off from movies and everything else and just dedicating it to finishing off my wrestling career. And he turned heel about a month ago.
Okay.
Thanks, a.k.a. turned into a bad guy.
Sure.
First time in his career. Thanks to the help of The Rock and Travis Scott. So, of course, the ref goes down at some point in the match, and you're thinking The Rock's going to come out to help John Cena. But no. Rapper Travis Scott, of all people, came down to the ring, who is my size, soaking wet. I'm not taking away from, I'm exaggerating a little bit. I'm not taking away from John Cena's 17th world title. It's just, where was Dwayne at? I got to call him Dwayne because I can't hear him.
So Dwayne's the loser then?
I guess Dwayne would be the loser in this situation for making Cena turn heel a month ago, and then in his biggest match to break the record, he doesn't even help him interfere in it.
All right, there's our breakdown of WrestleMania. I have to say, I'm not a wrestling fan. Didn't seem like people were super excited about it on social media, but judging anything by the social media response is unfair because people go to social media to complain. They very rarely go to social media to say that was awesome. So that's where I'll leave that. I've got a winner and a loser for you, and they pair together. Winner, Jesper Fast. Loser, Will Wade. Specifically them as siren sounders. So Will Wade was the pregame siren sounder for the Canes, and then the intermission siren sounder was Jesper Fast. I like both picks. I love Fast as a pick. Versus the Devils, right? Yeah. He scored the series-winning goal against the Devils back in whatever that was, 2023. I forgot about that too, yeah. Then he shows up, sounds like an old pro, right? Aggressive, puts effort into it. Will Wade, I don't mind as a choice, okay? You share a building with NC State basketball. He's buzzy. He's new. He's the new head coach. He's trying to build a fan base, so I'm with it. Somebody had to tell him to put more energy into it.
I did see the video.
Just a little too casual.
I mean, he was consistent with his motion. I'll give him that. You know, some people will go and then they'll stop, and then it's like up and down, like at least he was consistent with. That was a terrible siren impression.
I don't blame him for not seeing it before. He's not from here, right? It's that kind of deal. Someone had to give him a tip that, like, they're building off of your energy as much as the sound, so I need you to put some gusto behind this one. They should have had Fost go first. Fost goes first, gets everybody jacked up, then he could watch the film, right? And then Wade can come in. But it wasn't a great siren sounding. And that's an issue it's the first game of the postseason. Need good siren sounding. Do you have some more?
My winner?
Yeah.
The Caniacs.
Oh, look at you.
As a fan base. And speaking of fans, Moonshooter said, you guys are awesome. Didn't know you were on YouTube. Well, welcome, Moonshooter, to the YouTube family. But as it relates to the Caniacs, I'm going to be honest, and shame on me as somebody who grew up in the state of North Carolina. When I saw that game 1 against the Devils was scheduled for 3 o'clock on Easter Sunday, I was a little I was a little hesitant. And then I'm in a Canes group chat with some fans, and they did a ticket offer for limited seats left over at a discounted price of $62. Hope I didn't spoil the secrets to my Canes fans. So I'm thinking to myself, all right, they're kind of desperate to get guys into the building. I myself wasn't there yesterday. I was out of town. But watching the television broadcasts, again, shame on me. Why would I ever doubt the Caniac fan base? I know that there were some people out there tailgating as early as 10 a.m. yesterday.
It's not an insult to say you might be busy on Easter Sunday, like a little after lunch.
Fair.
Like that, good family people, right? You got a brunch with grandma. Like it's
exactly.
It's,
got to hug grandma a little bit longer. So my winner is the Caniacs. My losers are the NHL for trying to screw the Hurricanes over by placing them in a 3 o'clock window on Easter Sunday.
What I don't like is 3 o'clock Easter Sunday, 6 o'clock on a Tuesday for the Canes home games when they're the higher seed.
Yes.
And then the Devils get Friday at 8 primetime?
And Sunday?
It's like, wait a minute. This team did better in the regular season to earn home ice, and then you give the rowdier environment to them. That's what I don't like.
And this is our PSA that, again, tomorrow is a 6 o'clock start time. When I was watching the FanDuel Sports Network pregame broadcast and it said that the game on Tuesday was going to, or the coverage would start at 5:30, I'm going, wow, we're going an hour and a half all in for game 2. And then I remembered that's a 6 o'clock puck drop, and there's somebody in their car right now slamming their fist on the steering wheel going, I can't get off work that early. And I got to drive down Wade Avenue.
Hey, go in early. I don't know if you're allowed to do that, but try, right? Show up an hour early, and I don't know. I don't know your job. It's hard for me to say that.
So those are my final winners and losers.
All right, I got one more of each. You want winner or loser first?
Let's go loser. Let's switch it up.
Loser, the official scorer for the Tampa Bay Rays. Did you see what happened to Max Fried?
I did not, but I think
Yankees left-handed pitcher Max Fried was pitching against the Rays in Tampa. So the official score, I believe, comes from Tampa. He's in the bottom of the 8th inning, right, with a no-hitter going. He lost the no-hitter in the 6th inning. Yeah, he's in the 8th inning pitching, and he lost the no-hitter in the 6th inning. Because the official scorer went back and reviewed one of his decisions from the 6th inning.
No, he did not.
And changed a 6th inning call to a hit after originally ruling it an error. I'm not saying it's the wrong call, right? You could easily say that it was a hit and not an error. But I'm saying once you say it's an error, you got to live with that.
Yeah.
That's a bad call by you that you have to eat because Max Fried is out there trying to throw a no-hitter, and you just retroactively took it away from him. Who knows? Maybe the Yankees don't even put Fried out there for the 7th inning.
That's like after you get away with a deep shot downfield and a pass play, and the player goes up for it, and you can't tell if he had possession, and then you run up to the line of scrimmage real quick and hike it. Then the officials come in and wave it off. It's like, no, like you can't.
It's worse than that. It's catch, call the touchdown in the first quarter, then you're driving 2 minutes before halftime, and they take 7 points off the board and say that wasn't a catch back in at the end of the first quarter.
Better example,
like,
yeah.
That's not – I don't like it. I don't like it. And Max Fried missed a chance at a no-no. Last winner, Eagles players' agents. Did you see Cam Jurgens, their center, reached an agreement to become the second highest paid center in the league?
I did see that.
$68 million over 4 years. I looked it up. They're offensive starters. A.J. Brown is the 5th highest paid wide receiver in the league. This is on an average per year. So your contract divided by the years of the contract. The contract value divided by the years of the contract. A.J. Brown, 5th highest paid wide receiver. Devontae Smith, 12th highest paid wide receiver. Jalen Hurts, 10th highest paid quarterback. Saquon, number 1 highest paid running back. Dallas Goedert, 5th highest paid. I can keep going. 5th highest paid tight end. Lane Johnson, 2nd highest paid right tackle. Jordan Mailata, 7th highest paid left tackle. Landon Dickerson, 2nd highest paid offensive guard. And now Cam Jurgens is the 2nd highest paid offensive guard. Apparently salary caps are imaginary in Philly. I don't know how they do it. They essentially have 9 of their 11 starters on offense are in the top 12 players paid at their position in the league. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the top 2 highest paid at their position.
I mean, they already had a pretty good front office even before they won the Super Bowl. Now, to relate to college football, they have a great recruiting pitch in terms of, yeah, we just won the Super Bowl. We also did it in dominant fashion against the 2-time defending team in the Chiefs.
This is slight breaking news for Duke basketball fans out there. Duke former top recruit, top 20 recruit, Shelton Henderson, that had been signed with Duke and was let out of that letter of intent, has committed to Miami, he told On3. To me, that shows that it wasn't, Caleb Foster and Isaiah Evans are coming back as he thinks, so he's leaving because he doesn't see the opportunity. That looks like he's following Jay Lucas.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I'm wondering how much of the recruitment stuff does Jay Lucas handle in terms of
he was the primary recruiter of Shelton Henderson to Duke.
Yeah.
When Jay Lucas was the assistant at Duke. He has since taken the head coach at Miami, that job, so this one makes sense.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
But that does mean it's not anything – it's not what Duke fans were saying, which is – or at least it's not to me. Duke fans were saying that John Shire, somebody got to him and said, hey, man, the role might not be there.
Okay.
And this tells me that it was probably more of a following Jay Lucas thing. That's just my inference on Shelton Henderson, a former Duke signee, top 20 recruit in the incoming freshman class, committing to Miami. We may talk more about that. I know we'll talk more about the Canes laying a can of whoop-you-know-what on the Devils in Game 1, Round 1 of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Canes flip the switch. Stick around.
Move your sports day forward.
The golf world needed Rory's win at the Masters just as much as he needed the green jacket. We have someone new to root for, and he's relatable. Just a guy who cranks one into the water one moment, then saves par by smashing one out of the rough. Now, if he's really turned the corner, let's see if he contends at next month's PGA.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
This is Gordon Miller from Miller Lending in Cary. Over the years, I'm often asked why we made the choice to become one of the only mortgage companies in the state to provide loans without closing costs as a primary source of funding. And my response is always the same. How did closing costs ever become a thing? Who was that first person who asked for a lower rate, heard it would cost $15,000 to save $50 a month, smiled and said, that'd be great. Recently, we're noticing a trend of large national lenders quoting low rates but with a high APR. This is the definition of what happened when that first person asked for a lower rate but ignored how much it would cost. Quotes today are a two-part process. It's not just the rate, but what are the closing costs? At Miller Lending, we simply don't believe you'll keep your loan long enough to realize additional savings. So before you throw away thousands of dollars in needless fees, pick up the phone and call Miller Lending today. 919-447-3377, or simply apply online at millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender and MLS number 250-2146.
Welcome home. Your home is more than just walls and windows. It's where your story unfolds. At Baker Home Exteriors, we understand that every detail helps write that story. For over a century, our parent company, Baker Roofing, has set the standard for excellence. And now we're bringing that same dedication to your home. From roofing and siding to windows, gutters, and more, our craftsmen transform houses into the sanctuaries you've always imagined. Visit BakerHomeExteriors.com to begin your home's next chapter.
Dear McDonald's, your breakfast menu? Fire. 10s across the board. I could be happy with anything, even though I order the same thing every time. Thanks for not judging me. I'll try something new next time. Maybe.
Get your faves for less. Buy a sausage McMuffin with egg for $2.50 at any size Sprite for $1.49. Price and participation may vary, cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
And it's Stankoven, he scores! A power play goal for Logan Stankoven. His second of the period puts the Canes up 3-0.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have an answer to one of the questions we asked a whole bunch of times leading into the Stanley Cup playoffs. The Canes did flip the switch for the postseason. And that is lovely. That is just lovely to see. We asked it on this show. I was a guest on a podcast on Saturday. They were asking quite a bit about how the Canes season ended, right? The obviously the last couple of games, but they were playing the AHL guys. It wasn't The goalies had kind of letting a grasp slip a little bit on their play.
2-7 finish in the month of April. You're thinking, oh, this isn't ideal.
Well, it wasn't ideal, but you also kind of had a little bit of logic that was helping you keep the demons at bay, right? The intrusive thoughts. You just kept saying like, well, they locked in their postseason. They were playing for nothing.
True. I mean, look at what the Caps did after they locked in their playoff season.
That's not them, right? Yeah, they played bad. Yeah, you'd like for them to win. Yeah, you'd like for them to keep a couple more pucks out. But it really, like you were trying to talk yourself into it. How quickly were those fears erased?
Yeah.
Jalen Chatfield scored in the first 3 minutes. The shot total was lopsided by like 6 minutes into the game. It was like 9-2,
like 50-30 in total.
Yeah, and that's with the Devils getting a bunch of shots off late in the game. At one point, it was like 36-7 or something, and I'm only exaggerating a little bit. It was from the jump. It was a different looking team than we had seen in probably the last 2 weeks of the regular season, which kind of makes us retroactively believe our persuasive arguments when we were going, they don't care. They're resting. They already have it locked in. There's nothing to play for it. It's like now I'm going back to me of 2 weeks ago and going like, oh, you were right.
Yeah.
Because they were shot out of a cannon. They played really well right out the gate, which bodes well for them. Right? It bodes well for them being a team that gets it, that senses the moment, that understands when to empty the tank and when to conserve. Rod Brindamore was asked after the game, this is the head coach obviously, on if the win was justification for how they've been playing.
Yeah, I mean, I think like we talked about before, there's always that you worry that maybe you come out a little sluggish or, whatever, but obviously that wasn't the case. So, and we were healthy, healthy group, so I mean, it was a calculated risk maybe, but obviously, at least after game one, that was the right decision.
This might be, and it's the most annoying answer in the world, might be proof that there is a it depends answer. Right? The NFL draft is coming up on Thursday, right? That's when it gets started. And every year, there's a team that like has wrapped up the number 1 seed or can't get the number 1 seed, and they know their matchup and they know if they're home or away, and they're playing for nothing the last week. And the question becomes, do you rest your starters or do you play them? And the Canes had a similar situation, right? Everything was locked up. Do you bring up the AHL guys or do you not? Do you go, do you put the brakes on and then gas it for the last game? Like, what do you do? I think the answer is it depends. I think you have to know your guys. You have to know your system. The Canes system is about full throttle. And when you're like a new Canes fan, everybody tells you about it, and you don't really get the gist of it until you watch like a month straight of games, because you realize like, oh, they're running a mile full speed every night.
It's like I was watching the game yesterday with some of my girlfriend's cousins that were in town visiting from Vermont. And they're Habs fans, so obviously they're used to watching
and you
more.
Let them in the house.
They let me in the house, technically.
Oh, okay, never mind.
But we were watching, and her uncle just goes, man, the Hurricanes are fast. And you sit back for a little bit, and you're like, yeah, it's kind of similar to the Jacob Slavin argument when people that were watching the Four Nations face-off from the outside looking in terms of Hurricanes fans are like, man, Jacob Slavin's a grade A defenseman. And it's like, yeah, he is. We just get so spoiled to seeing them kind of run a no-huddle offense of hockey, if that makes sense.
It very much feels like that. It feels like a no-huddle offense because, right, they're forwards that when they have the ball, when they have the puck on the offensive side of the ice, they're thinking shots on goal, shots on goal, shots on goal. They're thinking create chaos. They're thinking make moves. And then when they're on the defensive side of the ice, they're thinking be in the hip pocket of your guy, right? Full speed, all energy, be where you're supposed to be. Go, 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 go. It is very much a tiring system. So if the Canes have to ask, hey, should we throttle down for 2 weeks or should we go full speed and try to keep our momentum? I think their answer might be different from a team that plays a different style of hockey.
Right.
Because they're thinking, no, our guys are gassed.
Yeah.
And if we can get them like some orange slices, a Capri Sun, and a couple of minutes sitting in the shade, they're going to be better for this second half, right? They're thinking differently. That's why I talked about earlier. Ending the season early matters for the Canes, or the series early matters for the Canes. Get an extra day or two of rest for your guys.
Especially, I mean, not to look too far ahead, but because you don't know what's going to happen in their series, but especially you get matched up with the Capitals.
Mm-hmm.
You've already seen just in some of the regular season meetings how aggressive and how tiring those showdowns have been already.
Mark Jankowski was a healthy scratch in Game 1 in favor of Roslovic staying on the ice. That isn't a guaranteed decision for every game from this point forward. If you have the depth and guys you trust that you can play and keep a pair of fresh legs always recharging, I don't think that's a bad idea. Same thing defensively. Alexander Nikishin, he's there, right? We know he's in the United States. We know he's at least on the ice for practices. If he gets up to the point where you trust him in a game, maybe you play him for Orlov, not permanently, if you're still a little worried about his fit or his comfort, but you give Orlov a game.
Speaking of Nikishin, somebody in our YouTube live stream chat, Silly GK to be exact, said, I know some might disagree with this, but I think this series would be the best series to have Nikishin come in and play. We might really need him when we get further into the playoffs against either Florida or Tampa.
I think and I've said this before the series, and haven't found a reason to change. I think he plays the first game, you have a 2-game lead. If you go up 2-0, he plays Friday in New York. If you go up 3-1, he plays when you get back home. And then based on how he plays, you go from there. I think the first game, you have a 2-game lead, you go with that. And then, obviously if you get into the later parts and it's you go up 1-0, 1-1, if it's something you don't like and you're in game 6, you can reevaluate. But that's the way I would do it. I'd try to get a win tomorrow at home, and then he can jump into the lineup next. But that would give somebody, whoever he goes in on for the blue line, a chance to recharge a bit, and you can keep your Canes advantage an advantage.
It's a good problem to have right now.
Volume shooting on Markstrom mattered, right? Because at the end of the first period, right, even though the lopsided shooting numbers, it was 1-0.
Yeah, it felt like it should have been 4-0.
And the goal came from Jalen Chatfield, right? Not exactly your leading goal scorer. So but it also, and I tweeted this out, I was like, if they keep firing, Markstrom's not going to be able to hold up under that pressure.
Right.
And you knew goals were coming, and they did. There and Graham, we were talking about it. There's a particular penalty kill, I think it was the second one, where every touch by the Devils that wasn't perfect.
Yeah.
Every pass that wasn't perfect was taken away and cleared by the Canes. One of them that was in perfect position.
Yeah.
Might have been Slavin, might have been Aho, might have been this guy, might have been Jarvis, it might have been after a shift, could have been whoever it was. But it looked, first of all, really exciting for Canes fans because it was like a let me think of a college basketball term since we're here in the triangle. It's like a shot clock violation with 5 block shots.
Yeah.
Like they didn't even get a shot off, right? And they were trying and just swatting everything. It was that, and as the timer, we're actually very similar, right? Because as the timer of the shot clock winds down, like that block shot with 0.7 seconds left is like,
and everybody's jumping up for it and everything. Yeah.
And then the same thing happened with the power play where it's like, they're not going to get a shot off. They're not going to get a shot off. And boom, it happened. And it was just effort and being in the right spot and not letting the fatigue fog you mentally. And that is Canes hockey, right? It's probably one of the few times you may have, and I didn't check for it, but I should have, a little smirk on Rod's face, right? A little like, there it is. That's Canes hockey. Like, that's what they're looking for. Both sides, effort, addition, skill equals Canes hockey. So the rest and them turning the switch, I think that's hard to do mentally. But it might be a necessary risk for them to get them physically ready for a postseason after a long grinding regular season.
And we also got to acknowledge Freddie's performance in net. And this might sound strange, but hopefully you get what I'm saying, Tim. I think sometimes it's more difficult than when you're in a game where it's a 1-goal advantage or it's going back like a 5-4 game, rather than what we saw yesterday where Freddie wasn't really tested at all through the first 2 periods.
Yep.
Had to mentally prepare for that third period rush that the Devils are going to bring and still look contempt, even though he did give up that 1 goal. But it's just one of those things.
Lesson learned, hopefully.
Yeah.
Lesson learned, hopefully. But that's also tough to go 2 periods without really being tested and then get a decent volume of shots in the third period. That's not the easiest thing in the world to do mentally as well.
Get ready or stay ready so you have to get ready, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Isn't that the saying?
Well, yeah, what is it saying? Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Yeah, there it is. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Stay ready for the starting five, including news of a very obvious decision by a college basketball player from Duke. The news broke today. We knew it for a long time. Cooper Flagg going pro. Stick around.
Hey, it's Adam Gold, and do you have a late-night craving for in-depth analysis on the Carolina Hurricanes and their latest game, their latest win, their pursuit of the Stanley Cup? Well, I can quench your thirst. I can feed that appetite on the Canes Corner podcast, the morning after edition, which drops the morning after every Hurricanes game. Get it wherever you get your podcast. Brought to you by the Aluminum Company of North Carolina.
When it comes to restoring cars, Diego's got skills. And with Total Wireless in his corner, the whole world sees them. With the dual camera system on his new iPhone 13, he can take amazing car photos and post them on the fly with super fast 5G, and even turn this hobby into a full-time gig. His claim to fame? Claiming iPhone 13 with 5G on us. Get iPhone 13 with 5G on us when you switch to the Total 5G or 5G Plus Unlimited 3-month plan. Total Wireless, in your corner. For limited time while supplies last. Valid in store. Device taxes and fees may apply. Requires port in and ID verification. Restrictions apply.
Are your monthly bills keeping you up at night, wondering how you got so behind? Hey, I'm Roger Moore, CEO of Loan Pronto. I get it. Life is expensive now. Insurance, groceries, cars. And then there's the credit card debt with those obscene interest rates. It's time to regain your financial freedom. And that's what we offer at Loan Pronto, using the power of the equity in your home. We have multiple ways to get you the cash you need, and most clients close in 2 weeks or less, and many don't even require an appraisal. And listen, rates have been plummeting recently. We just locked a homeowner in with an APR in the low fives, saving her over $1,000 per month, and put $10,000 in her pocket. Life-changing money. Whether you're drowning in debt, have a nosebleed rate you got last year, need home improvements, or simply need cash in your pocket, we can help you accomplish this goal in record time. Call us today and get started with no hard credit pull, just a conversation. LoanPronto.com, 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com. That's LoanPronto.com.
Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED, because millions of men experience it. But not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. HIMS.com/JOY.
Organize easy. Organize tough. Customize your work truck or van with upfit solutions from Van Products. Steel and aluminum shelving, toolboxes, data files, cabinets, drawers, conduit carriers, ladder racks, everything safe and secure. Everything built as unbreakable as you by Adrian Steel. Backed by the best warranty in the business. 3 years, 36,000 miles. Everything custom installed by Van Products so you know it's done right. From a single work rig to a fleet, choose custom installed upfit solutions from Van Products.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Getting hurt in a car wreck comes with all kinds of stress and frustration. But when you call me, I'll be on top of all of it. So all you need to worry about is getting better. If you've been injured in a car wreck, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm WRAL meteorologist Mike Mays. A dry day today, but storms in the forecast every day through Saturday, starting tomorrow. Partly cloudy, 65 the low tonight. Showers and storms possible tomorrow. Some could be strong, maybe severe, 83 the high.
Weather update is brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones closes the day down 971 points at 38,170.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting five.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is a Monday, everybody. It's a busy week, and we started off today with some very expected news. Let's start with number 5.
Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Lola Joseph lobs it back up top, stolen by Cooper. A race to the other end, get ready for the show! A reverse pull-up! My goodness! And the lead grows to 26, and Cal wants a timeout.
Cooper Flagg is going pro.
What?
I know.
No.
I know. There was, this is not making fun of anybody, but there was a very obvious, small hope for some fans that the longer Cooper Flagg took, the longer, no, he's not coming back. There's no way. He's definitely going pro. But maybe, I'm just saying, it's not going to happen, but it would be crazy if it did happen. And I'm going stop talking yourself into it. He's going pro.
I feel like I kind of fell into that category a little bit at one point.
Just it's
immediate reaction after the Houston game.
He's making a lot of money already. He doesn't really need the money. He could have.
I mean, college is more fun than the NBA. Why would you want to play in a crappy Wizard team?
You don't understand how close him and John Shire are. Those guys are like brothers. And I'm going he's going pro.
He did the spin motion with the finger looking at his parents when he got taken out of his last game at Cameron.
He's going pro. Here's the thing. You should never listen to an athlete that retires within a week of their final game, and you should never listen to a college athlete that says they are coming back within a week of their final game.
Fair enough.
Because what do sports do? They drive emotion. They elicit strong feelings, and you need to kind of get away from that to make a level-headed, clear-eyed decision, and he's making the right one. He's going to be the number 1 overall pick. I would understand if there is a franchise out there that he does not want to play for, but there's always going to be a franchise in the lottery that you do not want to play for, and you just gotta try.
Yeah.
Hornets have, I believe, a 14% chance at getting the number 1 pick.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
There is a 14% chance, is what I'm telling you. 14. That's not it. By the way, in the NFL, sometimes I do say it's smart for a team to tank, right? If there is a generational quarterback, which I believe Cooper Flagg, Victor Wembanyama, there have been a handful. That is a generational, a really, really, really good quarterback prospect. That's what I equate it to. Cross sport equals. If there's a generational quarterback prospect, I think it's smart to tank for certain teams at certain times. It's not fun for fans, probably not fun for players and coaches, but it's smart. If you have the worst record in the NFL, you are guaranteed the number 1 pick. You are tanking for a 100% chance at that player. Teams that tank in the NBA are tanking for a 14%. If you're the worst team in the league, you get a 14% chance at Cooper Flagg. And guess what the second worst team in the NBA gets? A 14% chance at Cooper Flagg. Guess what the third worst team in the NBA gets? A 14% chance. It's because they're trying to de-incentivize tanking. Teams still do it. That's how much a player like Cooper Flagg changes an NBA franchise.
Yeah.
That you're willing to tank to go from a 7% chance if you go hard trying to win to a 14% chance if you can get into the bottom 3. And you're willing to actively try to lose, make a bad roster to get a 14% chance at Cooper Flagg. He is that good, by the way, though. I genuinely think he will turn around the franchise he goes to. That's number 5. Let's head to number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, all together.
Sanders, empty backfield. Here's Shador with time. Shador in trouble. Sanders breaks contained, fires it down the field, and caught by Travis Hunter.
I'm going to, Graham, I know you like this analogy because you use it when you produce the show. I'm calling an audible here.
All right.
Number 4 was supposed to be, we're talking about Shador Sanders' number being retired and how it shouldn't happen at Colorado. But earlier today, some news broke, and I'm deciding to go in this direction. Pinehurst number 11 has been announced. Pinehurst, the golf resort right here in kind of our area, right? I claim it for the area. has announced the opening of Pinehurst number 11 in the fall of 2027. It'll be designed by Bill Core and Ben Crenshaw. It'll start construction on a property adjacent to the number 10 course as part of Pinehurst. Tom Dokes designed number 10 course. Pinehurst, there's I would probably say 3 or 4 even in the running for best golf location for a golf weekend. Pinehurst might be the number 1 seed. You got to throw Banyan in there. You probably the Pebble Beach region.
Sure.
But you're playing course they're not all in Pinehurst is a resort, right? You got to play Spyglass, you got to play Spanish Bay when you're out there at the Pebble Beach region, which are all different bookings, and you're staying at different places if you want to get the visitor rate and everything else. Pinehurst, and they just keep adding, and they've got the room, and they've got different vibes, and they've got the cradle, and they've got so many different challenges. They let their designers kind of build it in their image rather than trying to kind of conform to a theme that they all are into. It's good for golf that these events or these resorts are growing and growing and growing, because I think it's I've never been this good of a golfer. I'm going to describe a golfer. A golfer who thinks, if I would have started from when I was a kid and I would have really given it a gusto and I didn't spend so much time messing around in high school or playing these other sports, I think I could have been a tour player, right? Because in their hobbydom, they've taken it from I shoot 115 down to I'm low 80s most of the time, right? Or I'm a single digit handicap, or I'm really. They need a place that's somewhere to go be special, right? They're not just going to get their yayas out by hitting up the local municipal. They need somewhere that it's hey, I booked. Me and my buddies, me and 3 friends, we're all good golfers. We booked an entire weekend at Pinehurst for 8 months from now, and that's what they build their entire golf world around. And you need those kind of, big games, those Super Bowls. And I think that just continues to build the sport, right? Because then they're grinding, getting ready because they want to be good going into their Pinehurst trip. And this means, right, 11 courses means there's now an opportunity for them to have more golfers. 200-plus holes now at Pinehurst. 207, I believe it's going to be brought to. That's insane.
And U.S. Open coming back to number 2 in 2028.
It's in the rotation. It's going to be coming back a bunch in the next 20, 30 years. I don't know exactly the year off the top of my head, but you're right. Not everyone can get on Augusta. You know what I mean? But you can go where Rory and Bryson and where Payne, right? Where these guys had their iconic moments.
Yeah.
You can literally go play those courses, which is really, really cool. That's number 4. Let's jump to number 3.
Shotgun, rush coming. Mahomes has to eat it. The blitz was on. J.C. Horn.
The NFL draft is on Thursday, round 1. I talked about it earlier. Do you know what? If I could give one piece of advice to Dave Canales and Dan Morgan, head coach of the Panthers, GM of the Panthers, I am pretty I have an ego, don't get me wrong. I think I know football pretty well, played in college. I think I'm, above average as far as knowing ball. I am not so overly the top, delusionally confident that I should go tell an NFL, if I had one piece of advice to tell an NFL head coach and an NFL GM, I'd be well, this is what you're missing in your evaluations. I'm not going to do that. But the one piece of advice I would give them is, by gosh, be secretive.
Yes. Throw some smoke screens out there.
You are, and this is something I tell everyone that enters the public eye whatsoever. You are not under oath at the podium. You will not perjure yourself if you answer a question with a hint of mystery or vague, right? It'll be a little coy. The Panthers seem like they're Jalen Walker lovers. Right, and Dave Canales, I remember vividly seeing him with Kay Adams, and Kay Adams of Up and Adams, right? Her show. And Dave Canales was just like, oh, this guy, he's great. He's an unbelievable person. Everyone we talk to at Georgia, he's great. And I'm going like, easy, buddy. Don't give away everything. And then Dan Morgan is talking to the media, and they're like, well, do you see Jalen Walker as an edge rusher, a tweener, a linebacker, like off ball? Like, what do you? And he's like, oh, I see him as an edge rusher. I'm going like, no, buddy. Oh, keep it to yourself. Just say, oh, we're still doing evaluations, and there's certain things we're discussing internally. We're going to keep internal. I mean, or say, hey, I see him as an off-ball linebacker. That way no one will think you're taking him with the 8th pick, and no one will jump you. And it's actually funny because we had this exact conversation earlier where I said, like, you don't have to. You know, last year, Xavier Legette was going to the media and saying, they're going to take me at 33. They told me they're going to take me at 33, as if you need to, like, notify the player. You don't.
It's like, whoa.
You don't have to notify the player. The player can be surprised when you pick him. But as you know, the algorithms are always listening, right? So be careful what you say around your phone. Todd McShay, formerly of ESPN, now of The Ringer, he posted a quote graphic. So this is what Todd McShay said about Jalen Walker, edge, Georgia. McShay says, I will be very surprised if Walker is available at number 8 for the Carolina Panthers, which is the spot most people have been eyeing for him. I'm not saying that it would have been different if the Panthers stayed coy, right? Because everybody else is possible, is very much allowed to watch the tape and decide he's too good, and I'm going to draft him at 6, or I'm going to draft him at 5, or I'm going to trade up and draft him at 7. But if maybe the Panthers weren't so over the top about him, somebody might be thinking, maybe if we just don't say anything, we can get him at 11. Maybe if we just stay calm, we can get him at 10. We think he's worth the 5th pick.
Yeah.
But there's nothing that says we have to go get him at the 5th pick, so we'll sit where we are and keep our fingers crossed and play a little roulette here. And then all of a sudden the Panthers are like, we love him. And everybody with any insider information mock drafts Jalen Walker to the Panthers, and now it's, you know what, we can't sit at 11, or we can't trade back from 7 and still get him. We shouldn't play that roulette. We should go get him, and now the Panthers miss out on their guy. You're not under oath at the podium. I mean, I like it because now we get to know everything that you're going through, and we get to see your thought process all the way through, which is kind of cool for the media. But you should be worried about your team, not what's kind of cool for the media. Appreciate it, though. We'll obviously set our expectations more in picks we like and don't like and everything as the draft gets closer to Thursday. That's number 3. Let's hit number 2.
Just the two of us. To Withers on the left sideline, hands off to R.J. Davis, back to Cadeau. He's going to get into the lob action with Vinal and Lubin, who hammers it home.
So here's the deal, everybody. The transfer portal is becoming a circus. It's actually no, because a circus is well controlled and practiced and rehearsed. It is becoming
a runaway freight train.
Yeah, something that is, I mean, it's exhausting. Vinal and Lubin of UNC is going in the portal. 6'8", big guy, played really well towards the end of last year. As soon as the news broke, I believe Jeff Goodman had it first, field 68. As soon as news broke that he was hitting the portal, Van Allen put out a tweet saying, just so everybody knows, I'm not leaving. I'm entering the portal with every intent to come back to UNC. I'm just protecting myself in preparation for the House selection, whatever, basically the court case involving payments and everything to players.
And you're like, what court case? What do you, huh?
I don't get it. I don't understand. I know the court case. I don't know why there's something you could do when you're in the portal that you couldn't do not in the portal. Some are kind of hypothesizing that he might be getting a third-party NIL deal that has nothing to do with UNC, and the House settlement is expected soon. And I didn't go to law school. I didn't think I'd have to go to law school to cover college basketball. And then there's this other phenomena of the transfer portal that's happening, which is guys that have no eligibility are expecting to get eligibility. And by the way, somebody is telling them, because there's a flood of players with no eligibility, meaning they played 4 years, full seasons, in some case like 130 games, are heading into the transfer portal in waves, which means somebody is telling them there's a court case decision that's going to make it so eligibility won't be enforced. And if you think I'm making it up, Dontrez Styles from NC State played 1 year at UNC, 2 years at UNC, 3 years or third year at Georgetown, fourth year at NC State. He's in the transfer portal. He shouldn't have eligibility. Brandon Huntley Hatfield, transfer portal. Ian Shefflin from Clemson. He played 4 years, a ton of games. Transfer portal. Ben Middlebrooks has been in the transfer portal.
Yeah.
You could make an entire really, really good almost college basketball conference of guys in the portal that's
a whole other team right there.
Have no eligibility. And they're just expecting some court ruling to say you're at least going to get a 5th year. I don't get it.
Make it make sense.
And I don't want to say this with mean spirit, because a lot of these guys could go make a lot of money overseas. Some of them might get G League looks and could work their way up to the NBA. I'm not making fun of them as basketball players. They're really good basketball players. Get a job. Your college career is over. What you don't want to be is the guy wearing the Letterman's jacket when you're 22 at the high school football game. Unless you're there for like a reunion or homecoming or something. You don't just want to be rolling up going like,
hey, I'm back.
Yeah, I'm hoping they're going to let me keep playing. It's like, well, how many years did you play? 4. You're done. You did it. You're welcome. Move on. Other college portal news of the more normal variety. Ian Jackson, one of the top recruits in last year's freshman class, played at UNC. He hit the portal, leaving UNC. He has committed and signed with St. John's. I think that is one of the more, it makes sense.
Yeah. He's from New York as it is.
From New York. St. John's been in the mix for every big-name transfer, which means they have some money to spend.
Yeah.
From an Ian Jackson development standpoint, I think it makes sense because I think he has the physical skill set to be a really good defender. I think Rick Pitino can turn him into a really, really good defender. And mixed with his offensive ability could really boost his NBA draft stock. I think it makes sense for everybody involved.
I knew the NC State stuff wasn't really going anywhere. And I'm not saying like as a disrespect to Will Wade. Like I'm not down Will Wade's like recruiting tactics. I'm just, why go to NC State if you want to develop? Well, need to be careful how I phrase it. We don't know we don't know what kind of NC State team we're going to have next year. And we know the guys that they have coming in, the commits, but
I would not be surprised, and this is just me reading tea leaves, if Will Wade made a couple calls just so everybody would say they were linked to Ian Jackson, and it never got further than that. He just wanted to kind of announce that, like, I'm not terrified to call anybody.
Yeah, just to make a statement.
Just, hey, if you're interested, we're here. More portal news, because there's so much darn portal news. Stanley Borden, Duke big man, hitting the portal. Now, this is a true walk-on. Not a walk-on that was recruited. Got into school on his own academic merit and knocked on the coach's door first day of class.
Started hosting the Brotherhood podcast.
He's hitting the portal. He's like a 7-footer, so he might have interest, mid-major or whatever. Do you know what's notable about that? He's the last player in the Duke program that was coached by Krzyzewski.
What? Okay, interesting.
So it is right. The walk-ons kind of stuck around even when everybody else moved on. So now it's Shire's program. No more connections. It's kind of cool. Dakari Collins, wide receiver from NC State, committed to Louisville. I think that makes sense. Joey Aguilar, former App State quarterback, most recently a UCLA quarterback. He's hitting the portal because Nico Iamaleava committed to UCLA last week. Reportedly, Aguilar and Tennessee might be circling each other, which would mean Iamaleava and Joey Aguilar might be doing a little flipsy-doodle.
Oh, that'd be hilarious. Tennessee's just doing it just to stick it to Iamaleava.
Yeah, you might get the same level of quarterback play for a quarter of the price, if even that. I don't know how much Joey's making.
Any more transfer news? My fingers are starting to hurt back here, pressing all the buttons for the panels.
I guarantee you there is. UNC football. Benjamin Hall, running back, committed to UNC from Michigan. I don't know. Marion Hampton's got big cleats to fill. Get a couple more guys to do it, right? Fill it in the aggregate. You're not going to get 170 RBI and 50 home run from one player, but you could get 3 that all get on base about the same. Hall coming from Michigan to UNC. And UNC was linked to Jaden Rashada, quarterback out of the transfer portal from Georgia. We'll talk about that later on. There's so much portal news. You asked for more, I gave you more, Graham. Yeah, teach you a lesson. That was number, 2? Let's head to number 1.
Kings win the draw. Back Sheffield, they score! Traffic out front, but Chatfield was ready to let it go.
The Canes won that. I keep saying last night. The NHL didn't even give them a night game. The Canes won yesterday, 3:00 Easter Sunday. It makes sense, right? They're playing the Devils on Easter Sunday.
No way in hell they were losing that game.
There you go. Did you do that on purpose?
I borrowed that from Paul Ihander earlier this morning.
Yeah, Paul's good with the puns.
Yeah, he is.
Paul Ihander, every morning, 9:00. Next up, that show produced by Graham. So check them out, 9 to 10 every morning right here, 99.9 The Fan. And right now, let's just go through our whole lineup. Adam Gold right here on 99.9 The Fan, host from noon to 3, and he's given us 2 minutes of gold all about that Canes win, which there was no way in hell they were losing that one. Here's Adam Gold.
Hey, it's Adam Gold, and I've got 2 minutes for 2 Carolina Hurricanes who didn't start the season with them as Carolina takes a 1-game-to-none lead in the best-of-7 series over the New Jersey Devils, and it's brought to us by Parkway Sleep Health Centers for better sleep. So Logan Stankoven and Taylor Hall came to Carolina at different times, and each time involved Mikko Rantanen. Hall was in some ways the vessel through which Rantanen arrived in Carolina. Remember, it was Chicago that laundered the contract of Rantanen so Carolina could take it on. And they got Taylor Hall sort of, I guess, as a consolation prize. I think Chicago might have thought a booby prize. In the process, Stankoven was the prize received from Dallas when the Hurricanes and Rantanen couldn't get to the altar. And don't you know, those 2 players were arguably Carolina's best in Game 1 against the Devils. Hall was probably the best player on the ice. I cannot believe he played under 13 minutes. I remember every single one of them during the game. 2 assists and was all over the place. More goals created, it seemed in my brain, than any other player on the ice. And Stankoven finished off one of them on the power play, and he got another goal that came just before then on a pass from Jordan Martinook. Stankoven was great. The identity of the way the Hurricanes play is about Logan Stankoven. Look at how he plays. He fits beautifully with the captain and Martinook. But those 2 players were phenomenal. Carolina wins 4-1. And I just thought, let me look. Let me see how other Hurricanes did. Look, we're rooting for Marty Necas and Jack Drury. Each had an assist in the 5-1 Avalanche win in Dallas. And I happened to notice 18 minutes of -1 for Mikko Rantanen? I thought you were supposed to put them over the top, Mikko. Look, I'm just kidding. I don't wish ill of Mikko, but I know some of you do, and that was for you. This is from ParkwaySleep.com. Start your journey to a healthier night's sleep. We'll get 1 good night's sleep in, and then we'll be back for Tuesday's Game 2. Parkway Sleep Health Center. Sound sleep, sound health, sound off for the 2 new guys.
Thank you very much to Adam Gold for 2 minutes of gold. I'm not saying Adam's wrong, but I am saying that if you're really petty rooting against Mikko Rantanen, you can cite ESPN.com and make it worse. Right? Adam said he was -1 in 18 minutes. ESPN.com has him as a -2 in 18 minutes. 18 minutes and 3 seconds to be exact. So, just saying, could be worse. Could have been -3, Mikko. Could have been -3. 3 shots on goal, no goals, no points of any kind to speak of. And his Dallas Stars, which really, you know what they were missing? You know what Dallas was missing against Colorado?
Stankoven?
Yeah, something like a spark.
Yeah.
Like a gritty, grimy 5'8" spark plug that would get your team rolling. Maybe score multiple goals in game one in order to announce the arrival of your team. Maybe that's what they were missing.
Well, may never know.
Maybe they shouldn't. Maybe they're missing their picks. I don't know how. I just wanted to bring up that the Dallas also gave the Canes a bunch of picks in the Mikko deal. It wasn't just Logan Stankoven. Although in the future it might be like, oh, Stankoven's really good. Plus you got all those picks. Look at that. Those are the good trades. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We need some numbers game contestants, don't we? By the way, the starting five was brought to you by Ritchie Law Firm. Injury lawyers. Injured in an accident? Ritchie's Law is on top of it. There we go. Visit RitchieLaw.com. That's RICCI law.com. Brought to you, the starting five, by Ritchie Law. Now we do need some numbers game contestants, and today is our first day where we have Lincoln Park tickets to give away. So if you win the numbers game, you get to see Lincoln Park with special guest grandson on. There you go. And, okay, never mind. I got it now. I was reading it with bad punctuation. I'm like, that
might have been my fault too.
No, I'm like Ron Burgundy. I'm Ron Burgundy. Who put the question mark on the teleprompter? I'll just read it more straightforward for you. We have Lincoln Park tickets with special guest grandson on the From Zero World Tour 2025. They're coming to the Lenovo Center on May 6th, Lincoln Park, with special guest grandson. If you want to win the tickets, you have to win the numbers game. To do that, you have to call in now. 919-860-5326. That's 919-860-5326. We need 2 contestants to play the numbers game. Call in now because it's coming up next.
Let's go! It's the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Aho now to Jarvis. Jarvis, you'll get the chance.
Let's go, Canes!
The Chetkov, stop! It's on the goal line behind him! He does a snow angel in the paint!
Go, Canes!
Playoff hockey in Raleigh is something that you can't describe, and it's because of you. So we want to be here.
The Canes' road to the Stanley Cup runs through us. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
Make your next tailgate more electric when you plug into a new Ford F-150 or Super Duty truck. Not only do they light up the scoreboard with outstanding payload and towing numbers, with available Pro Power on board, you can turn these Ford trucks into mobile generators to give your tailgate party an extra boost of energy. Visit your Carolina Ford dealer or buyfordnow.com for great offers and to learn more about F-150 and Super Duty. See owner's manual for important operating instructions.
Rev up your engines at Apex Racing Lab, the Triangle's largest sim racing destination. Experience the ultimate thrill with 16 cutting-edge simulators, expert instructors, and world-class virtual tracks. Apex Racing Lab brings the adrenaline-pumping world of sim racing to life. Whether you're a beginner or a seasoned pro, you can race friends and family for fun or join a competitive league. Ready to race? Head to Apex Racing Lab in Cary's McGregor Village in Greater Raleigh and unleash your racing passion. Learn more at apexracinglab.com.
The Body Armor State Games are coming to Greensboro this June. Registration is open to athletes of all ages and skill levels in 20 different sports. The Body Armor State Games feature 11,000 athletes and 600 teams. Don't miss out on North Carolina's largest sports festival of the year. Visit bodyarmorstategames.org today. The Body Armor State Games are proud to partner with Truist, Lowe's Foods, and Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina.
It's bow time. Yep, it's eating time again. Now you could unload groceries, chop, dice, mince, preheat, heat, slap around the smoke detector, and then celebrate with a big old pile of dishes. But if you're tired of cooking, or tired of sorta cooking, it's time to feed the whole family with Bojangles Fried Chicken Family Meal. With Bojangles' famous chicken, fixins, biscuits, and tea, you can forget the cookbook and spend some well-earned quality time with a delicious dinner from Bojangles. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to stop whatever you're doing for some of that bodacious Bojangles flavor. Satisfy your craving for flavor and your passion for boneless chicken with Bojangles 4-piece Supremes Dinner. 4 perfectly seasoned Cajun-fried whole breast tenderloin fillets. Choice of fixin', a made-from-scratch buttermilk biscuit, and Bojangles legendary iced tea. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's Bo time.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-371-0505. 800-371-0505.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time to play the numbers game. We have Anthony in Raleigh. We have Micah in Morrisville. They are getting ready to battle it out with the prize on the line, Lincoln Park tickets with special guest grandson coming to the Lenovo Center. Looking forward to this numbers game battle. As always, we ask a question. Graham, you get to be the judge now. Usually it's Dennis, but today it'll be Graham. I'll ask a question. Same question to both contestants. Graham will pick his favorite answer. That person will get to go first. We'll start with Anthony in Raleigh. Anthony, are you there?
I'm here.
All right. The question is, what was the highlight of your past weekend? Right? This is a Monday. You're looking back on your weekend. What was the highlight? But the key being, we are a sports show, so keep it sports related.
I actually was able to go and play softball with a bunch of friends that I haven't played in a while. Picked up a bat, threw a ball or anything in a while, and was able to go out and have a good time with them.
And injury-free?
Injury-free.
All right, that's hey, you got to start with the basics. We had a event game where I got to play a little baseball at the Durham Bulls Park last year. I did go 3 for 4. Let's not get crazy. But on one of them, jogging down to first base, I popped a hammy. So it was 3 for 4 and a real loss. But anyway, Anthony and Raleigh, we have your answer locked in. We'll see if Graham chooses it as his favorite. Micah in Mooresville. I have a feeling I know which way you're going with this one. But what was the highlight of your weekend? Sports related.
I would say tailgating for the game yesterday. We were out there. It's funny. We went to church and then we went straight to the parking lots. So we were out there tailgating, and then obviously the Canes just pulling it out. So that was fun.
Now, did you go to church in your Canes clothes, tailgate in your church clothes, or did you change in between?
I wanted to, but my mom would have got mad at me. So I put on the church clothes and changed in the Lenovo parking lot.
All right, that's fair. That is fair. Are you going to be at the game tomorrow?
No, I don't think so. Not right now.
All right. Well, if anybody else is, stop by and see us. We'll be there live from 3 to 5 in the plaza. Then we'll be kicking around until the game. I'll be in the game. So that's all going on tomorrow. We'll be outside taking in the tailgating and everything during the show tomorrow. And then from 5 to 6, it'll be an hour of Storm Watch with Adam Gold. Puck drop scheduled for 6 o'clock. Graham, whose answer was better?
Well, since earlier during Winners and Losers, I straight up said I doubted the Hurricanes in terms of their tailgating experience for a 3 o'clock puck drop on Easter Sunday. Micah just shared his experience in terms of going to church. Would have been better if he had gone in a sweater, but I understand you don't want to upset the mom. So I got to go with Micah for his dedication in terms of getting his holiness in early in the morning and then getting even more holy hockey in the afternoon.
All right, there you go. Micah, you get to go first. Don't worry, though, as I always say to the others. Anthony, you'll have your chance. You just got to hold on a bit. Mike, are you ready to pick a category?
Yeah.
All right, categories are NFL players, their last name starts with the letter M, NFL players whose significant other is famous, NBA players who are in the top 100 of active players in most games played with no playoff appearances, or NHL Hurricanes only.
NHL Hurricanes only.
Had a feeling. I will give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. I will say the team, even though you know it in this category, to keep it fair timing-wise with the other categories. There will be 30 seconds on the clock, one pass if you need it. Any questions before we get started?
No, I think I'm good.
All right, your time will start when you hear the horn. Logan Stankoven, Carolina Hurricanes.
11.
Incorrect. William Carrier, Carolina Hurricanes.
28.
Correct. Logan Stankoven, Carolina Hurricanes.
22.
There you go. Craig Adams, Carolina Hurricanes.
13.
Incorrect. Paul Stastny, Carolina Hurricanes.
26.
Correct. Darren Langdon, Carolina Hurricanes.
5.
Incorrect. Craig Adams, Carolina Hurricanes.
27.
Correct. Darren Langdon, Carolina Hurricanes.
44.
Incorrect. Darren Langdon, Carolina Hurricanes.
27.
Incorrect. Darren Langdon, Carolina Hurricanes.
9. I don't know that one.
We were looking for 20. Micah, 20. We have to have I don't want to admonish you on air. Who's number 11?
Yeah, I don't know why I said that. I was just trying to go so fast. I don't know what I was thinking. Jordan Staal.
Is it because Stankoven was on the Staal line? The only reason I'm giving you a hard time here is because you're like our Canes guy, and you're gonna. When I say like, oh, here's our Canes guy, Micah, and then I say Logan Stankoven, and you give Jordan Stahl's number, where your credibility is going to be tested here.
Yeah, that was I think he wore 11 in Dallas. That's what was in my head. I don't know what I was thinking. That was on me.
All right, it's all good. We'll forgive it this time. Stay on the line though. We'll see if 4 holds up. That's obviously a solid score. That brings us to Anthony and Raleigh. Anthony, are you there?
I'm here.
All right, the categories remaining for you to choose from are NFL players whose last name starts with the letter M, as in my last name, NFL players whose significant other is famous, or NBA players who are in the top 100 of most games played amongst active players without a playoff appearance.
Let's go NFL's players with significant other who's famous.
All right. I will give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. One pass if you need it. You need all 5 for the win. Any questions before we get started?
Nope.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Travis Kelce, Kansas City Chiefs.
85.
Incorrect. Josh Allen, Buffalo Bills.
17.
Correct. Christian McCaffrey, San Francisco 49ers.
25.
Incorrect. Travis Kelce, Kansas City Chiefs.
87.
Correct. J.J. Watt, Houston Texans.
99.
Correct. Fred Warner, San Francisco 49ers.
Pass.
Christian McCaffrey, San Francisco 49ers.
27.
Incorrect. Fred Warner, San Francisco 49ers. Close. You got to 3, which is a good score. Unfortunately, this time not enough for the win, but hopefully you had some fun.
I did. Thank you so much.
Thank you. For those of you playing at home, CMC, number 23 is the number we were looking for with the Niners. Fred Warner with the Niners also, number 54. And if you're wondering about the significant others, I don't know how all of these are famous, but they are, trust me. I'm just not the most pop culture hip guy in the world. Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift. Josh Allen, Haley Steinfeld. Apparently a bonkers movie out right now. Sinners?
Yeah, Sinners with Michael B. Jordan, right?
Yeah, twice. He's plays twins. But apparently a really good movie. I haven't seen it. Christian McCaffrey, Olivia Culpo, J.J. Watt, Kelia Watt, and then Fred Warner, Sidney Hightower is his significant other. Those are the famous ones of reference. Micah, congratulations. You are the winner.
Thank you. I don't know what I'm literally wearing my Jordan Staal jersey because Chipotle has a buy one get one free if you wear your Canes jersey.
Oh, thank you, Micah.
Jersey, so shout out Chipotle. But I don't know what I'm thinking. I literally have 11 on my back. But yeah, sorry, Jordan Staal.
You just redeemed yourself for letting everybody know in the Triangle area about the Chipotle deal. So props to you, Micah. You redeemed yourself.
There you go, Micah. Appreciate it. Go ahead and stay on the line. Graham has some info he needs to grab from you, but congratulations again. I want everybody to know, like, we know Micah. I wasn't calling him out to be mean. I was calling him out because he's better than that. He's gotten multiple perfect scores over the years in Canes jersey numbers. So throwing Jordan Stahl's number out there for someone other than Jordan Stahl deserved. That was some earned ribbing there from towards our guy Micah. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, Tim Donnelly here for Miller Lending. It can be exhausting. I know people every day. They're updating their investment apps, and then they're looking at their banking app, then they're looking at the mortgage rates, and they're just their phone, their screen time has to be through the roof. How about this? Call up Miller Lending, get a no closing cost loan, and take some of that worry and some of that constant need to time the market perfectly off your shoulders. Because lock in a mortgage rate now, right? Rates may be higher than you want, and I get it, but you can't pick your timing all the time. You have to move, a new job, a family reason, upsize, downsize, whatever it is, and your dream home became available, right? You have to. Can't pick the timing. Get a higher rate than you want, and then you're terrified. What if rates go down? What if I got a mortgage at the wrong time? What if rates go down? I have to pay all those costs and fees again. No. I said no closing costs and fees, right? Miller Lending sets it up so if rates drop, refinance. No costs and fees. No money out of your pocket. Just the lower monthly rate. If they drop again, do it again. If they drop again, do it again, and on and on and on. And if rates go up, thank goodness you locked in the rate when you did, right? Because it wasn't at the peak of the market. So give them a call. They can talk you through it. They can explain the hows and whats and whys. But just know that Miller Lending is out to make it so you aren't as at the mercy of a volatile market, especially with how volatile it's been recently. 919-447-3377 is the number to call. That's 919-447-3377, locally owned right here in Cary. You'll talk to someone locally. You can also visit them online at millerlending.com. That's millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, NMLS number 250-2146. We mentioned it earlier, but we haven't dove in fully. UNC is being linked to every single quarterback in the portal. I do not like that. And I will tell you why coming up.
The NFL Draft. Start the clock. The picks will be in. With the first pick, it's NFL Draft Week.
This is football. Welcome to the big leagues.
The Carolina Panthers have pick number 8.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
Insider reports and in-depth coverage all week long on 99.9 The Fan.
Let's give these people a show.
The Triangle Sports Leader.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon, you wish would never end. The homemade taste of Bluebell, and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Chocolate lovers are going absolutely bananas over our new Bluebell Banana Fudge. Rich milk chocolate ice cream swirled with a scrumptious banana-flavored ice cream. Your favorite banana fudge bar, now in a carton.
The good old days are being made right now. The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at all Walgreens and all Lowe's food stores.
Oh, by the way, Ivan's no longer on the project. His wife got a new job, so they're moving across the country.
Robin's top researcher is deviating to a new market. This isn't standard.
And now we're short-staffed. Who's going to finish all these projects?
She needs a cluster of new data analysts, and there's no margin for error.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Put our matching platform to work so you can spend less time searching and more time connecting with talented candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Oh, wow, honey, I love it. It's so beautiful and so sparkly.
Just like you, Mom. Happy Mother's Day.
I'll wear it every day. It goes with everything.
This Mother's Day, wow Mom with spirit-lifting, outfit-making, express your love jewelry. Shop jtv.com/mom for wow-worthy and budget-friendly styles.
I'm never taking it off.
Another wow factor? Sign up for JTV Text and get $30 off. If she loves jewelry, she'll love JTV.
Hey, it's Tim here for All-Star Dog Training. We all remember the late, great Ripken grabbing bats with the Bulls, the T with State. Well, we have the man behind the dog here, the trainer, Michael from All-Star Dog Training, joining us. Michael, I know you're rebranding a little bit, something to honor Ripken.
Absolutely. We wanted to honor Ripken's legacy, and we thought, what better way to start our rebrand, and came out with All-Star Dog Training.
We all know Ripken, but his full-blooded brother, Champ, has taken over some of his legacy as well?
Absolutely. He debuts this Durham Bowl season.
Another great way to honor the late, great Ripken is to make all of the dogs in the triangle the best trained possible. He was so impressive. What services do you offer for dog owners around here?
We start everyone with the free consultation, and from there we go from puppy classes all the way up to board and trains, private lessons, and day trains. Anything you can think of, we try to do for you.
Now, how can they contact you? Where are you located?
We're located in a 5,000 square foot facility in Apex, but remember, we'll always come to your dog too.
Same all-star team, new all-star name, allstardogtraining.com.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay is my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things. People. Love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly. Here on 99.9 The Fan. Graham Hill producing the show. UNC being linked to every single quarterback in the portal. And there's one specific thing that makes me a little concerned about that. I don't mind being linked to everybody before you have your guy. Once you make a decision that you have your guy, I think you kind of got to stop flirting. Georgia transfer quarterback Jaden Rashada plans to visit North Carolina Wednesday, according to CBS Sports reports. You probably remember Jaden Rashada as a guy that made big news during the draft process, the recruiting process, because he reportedly signed the first really big gargantuan NIL deal. $13 million was the number reported to play for Florida, and then that completely fell through, and he ended up at Arizona State, was there for a year, ended up at Georgia, was there. Now he's back in the portal, and he's reportedly going to visit UNC on Wednesday. So let me take you through what's happened since Bill Belichick has taken over, and I'm just talking quarterbacks. Bill Belichick took over. Big news, Bryce Baker keeping his commitment. Bryce Baker, the top 300 recruit quarterback in state, big dude, sticking around. Woo! Surprising news. Ryan Brown joins UNC out of the transfer portal from Purdue, a guy whose entire college resume is basically one really, really good game. Then there was a nice update. We got an update from Max Johnson, the injured starter from last year. He's on the way back. He's rehabbing. We saw a video with a montage. It was great. Then there was some surprising news. UNC was linked to Nico Iamaleava in the transfer portal. They even went as far on 247 Sports as giving him a crystal ball prediction to go to UNC. That ends up not being the case. That night, never mind, they're out. More surprising news. Ryan Brown, who joined from Purdue during the first transfer window, leaves UNC into the transfer portal and goes back to Purdue during the second transfer window. So he basically did like 3 months. He did a little semester abroad in Chapel Hill. Then there's good news. Gio Lopez signs with UNC out of the transfer portal. South Alabama transfer quarterback. A guy that was reportedly talking to LSU and Georgia and these other big schools. Cool. Then this confusing news. UNC is hosting Jaden Rashada on a visit this Wednesday. Now, I will say I am a former quarterback, so I might be sensitive to quarterbacks. But this ain't it. You don't keep bringing guys in and picking them seemingly, right? Like Gio Lopez is supposed to be making $2 million this year. You don't bring guys in and then keep flirting with everyone else. Once you pick a guy, you have some conviction. Now, if you haven't picked, right, if you're still open, if you're still exploring all options, talk to everybody. But if you have a guy whose confidence you care about because you might have to use him, you got to show confidence. Now, this is where I have to raise my hand and say, I know I could be biased, right? You got to put your biases on Front Street. So my first couple years in college playing at the University of Delaware, I sat behind a guy that was going to go play in the NFL. His name was Pat Devlin, started his career at Penn State, went on to play 3, 4, 5 years, something like that with the Dolphins. Mostly practice squad, but hey, good for him. And he was active enough that I want to say he got all the, 3 or 4 years. Anyway, sat behind him. That next year, I was hoping it was my turn to take over. I ended up being the starter that year. But that winter, they brought in Dane Christ. Some of you may remember him. He was a starter at Notre Dame and finished his career at Kansas playing for Charlie Weiss. But Dane Christ was brought in on a visit. And the coaches, I'm going like, you're going to try to take my job and give it to this guy? This guy that lost, he's got a knee brace on because he got hurt and he couldn't even keep playing at Notre Dame. No disrespect to Dane Christ. This was me, angry and competitive. And then they had the nerve to have one of my best friends host him on his recruiting visit, a wide receiver. And I'm going, that. I don't know if I ever forgave the coaches for it. Dane Christ didn't even pick us. He went to Kansas to play with Charlie Weiss. Right? Grad transfer. And I don't know if it messed with my confidence. It definitely messed with my trust in the coaching staff. And guess what I didn't have? $2 million committed to me by the NIL collective. Gio Lopez, once you bring him in, I think you have to show support in him. And if you don't, if you're still searching, if you're still shopping, bring someone else in. This is where the ruthlessness of Bill Belichick, which I like at most positions, is different for college quarterback. Right? If there's a linebacker and you bring in competition for his starting job, you can linebacker harder. Right? You can work harder. You can hit harder. You can run faster. You can be more amped. Quarterback is about slowing down. It's about being calm. It's about not hesitating. Right? If you give a running back competition, right? You got a running back, you got a stud, right? Or Davion Goss, right? Their returning incumbent running back. They just signed Benjamin Hall from Michigan, an incoming transfer. You can look at Goss and say, yeah, he's coming for your job. And he can channel all of that anger, all of that competitiveness into running harder, into blocking harder, into hitting harder. You can't do that with quarterback. You can't. Confidence is way too important. And, as I've said many times, the difference between a completion, which could be a touchdown, and a tip ball interception, a lot of times is literally snap of the fingers amount of time. That's all it takes. So if you're sitting there getting ready to throw and you think they brought in that transfer, if I throw an interception here, then they're going to give him my job. And because of that, you go, just that one little, is it open? Is it? Rather than see it, throw it. It's see it, confirm it, throw it. It's too late. It's too late. Now, if they move on from Gio Lopez, which I don't know how in the world they would know already that they're moving on from Gio Lopez because they signed him like 48 hours before they're being linked to Jaden Rashada. But if they're moving on from him, then yeah, right? Like Ryan Brown seems to be like they brought him in, realized he wasn't the guy, went and recruited over him. That means you're open and searching. But if you bring in a guy and you want to throw him the keys to your franchise or your program, right? I'm talking pro because they like to call themselves the 33rd NFL team. If you bring in a guy and you want to give him the keys to your franchise, you got to give him the keys. And then you got to let him drive. And you can't be I don't know if everybody else did this. Graham, when you learned to drive, was one of your parents taught you, I assume?
Yes.
Did either of them smash the invisible brake?
Oh, yeah.
My mom, the passenger seat, like the floor right there, smashing the brake, like brake. You can't do that with a college quarterback. You can't be looking over their shoulder. You got to toss them the keys and say, be back by midnight, and trust them to go bring it back in one piece. Because that's how you build confidence. And that's how the rest of the team sees the confidence in the player. So they're like, oh, coach trusts him. I should too. There's more there. We'll talk about it as the offseason goes along. But right now, we are going to hit a little overdrive. That means the drive is coming to a close. Thank you to Graham for keeping us up and running in Dennis's absence. We'll start Kane's Devils reaction on Overdrive, followed up by Cooper Flagg. Until tomorrow, everybody, have a great night.